back. It is game day exclusive. It is so loud here at Portman Road as we build up to the final moments ahead of Ipswich Town's return to the Premier League against Liverpool. Mo Salah will be the man to watch. He has the chance to claim the outright record for goals scored on the opening weekend of a Premier League season. Currently on 12, one behind Wayne Rooney in terms of goal involvement overall. I'm here alongside Luke Chambers, Joe Shennan and Scott Minto. We've talked about how Leif Davis will have to be under proper Salah watch today because he's got a big job on his hands. But in terms of Mo Salah, Scott, you touched on it, in terms of the question marks in the contract negotiations. Salah in the last year of his contract, it's him, Virgil van Dijk and Trent, who kind of, their futures need to be decided. But as for Mo Salah, still a leading light for this side, whatever happens.
Absolutely, and look, we know he wasn't quite 100%, or we say 100%, he's pretty much 120% for most people, even if it isn't for him. And obviously he had a little bit of a fallout as well with Jurgen Klopp. I think he seems to have really enjoyed pre-season as well. His pre-season has gone really well for him. He looks really sharp, whereas he didn't after the African Cup of Nations. And I just think this is almost like not a new start for him, obviously, but he's got 1 year left on his deal. I think he's made his mind up whether he was going to sign another contract or not. I don't think he will, personally, but we'll wait and see. But it's almost like, right, it's the start of my last year in the Premier League. I'm absolutely going to go out on a high. And I tell you what, I'd say it's a 2.5 horse title race, Resh. I wouldn't put Liverpool totally in it, but I wouldn't put them totally out of it either. The way you look at the 11, you look at the way their bench is, and if Arne Slot gets a really good start, Liverpool fans really support their own, and he sees them as one of their own as well. So this is going to be tough. I mean, look, it's a really difficult game for Liverpool, but it's a really difficult game for Ipswich. You could turn it on its head and say, look, Ipswich, 22 years we've not been here in the top flights, you know, back-to-back promotions. Let's play one of the big boys early when they're not quite 100% at it. But as Luke said as well, Liverpool will be coming here and thinking this is a great game for us. I'm telling you now, no idea which way it's going to go. I fancy Liverpool more so than I fancy Ipswich, but the odds of Ipswich winning are very, very good indeed.
Go on, Luke, put it out there. Which one? Can they do it?
I'm really intrigued. I love the team selection from both teams. I think it's going to be so exciting. I think it's going to be an attacking game of football, and whoever's attack comes out on top today will win the game. And my heart tells me Ipswich, but experience tells me Liverpool are going to be very, very difficult weeks today.
Look, we've talked about the number of players that just a couple of seasons ago were playing the third tier of English football. Now they're playing against one of the biggest clubs in the world with world-class players in their side. Whatever Kieran McKenna does on the training pitch, there's only so much he can do. Ultimately, Resh, is still always about the players. You expect Liverpool to win this particular game, but the atmosphere here now is nothing short of sensational. And, you know, the proverbial 12th man, that's exactly what they are. They've been like that for the last couple of years. Even when they were playing with respect to Fleetwood Town in League One, it was 27,000. Now they're with the big boys and they're ready for this.
They're absolutely ready for this. There's Tifo alongside us in the Sir Bobby Robson stand saying the future is now. Can you hear the noise? Really quickly, Luke, how are you feeling? Where's your pride at?
I'm really proud of the club. At the end of the day, I spent a massive amount of time of my football career playing for Ipswich Town. We didn't reach these heights. A little bit of envy here, sat here, but listen, what a lucky group of people we are to be here today. Listen, 30,000 people in here. We've got the best seats in the house. The atmosphere is electric. There's flames going off in front of us. It's incredible. I'm really, really proud of what they've achieved.
It is absolutely incredible, Luke. You're right. I mean, we've got Faithless Insomnia playing in the background. Everyone is up for this. What an occasion at Portman Road. It is a cacophony of noise. I can tell you, I've taken my headphones off when I haven't been on air just to listen to this noise. It is fantastic. This is what you want. There is excitement in the air. This is the first game day of the season, and I have a feeling it's going to be a memorable one. 22 years on for this country, for this club. What a roller coaster ride it's been for every single Ipswich Town fan over these intervening years. Dreams of the promised land of the top flight, and they are now here, and they can scarcely hardly believe it. Such a special day. Of course, it's a huge game for Liverpool as well. 12:30, incidentally, was the most hated fixture, wasn't it, under Jurgen Klopp? Arne doesn't seem to have any issues with this particular slot. The visiting Liverpool fans don't either. They are very much in full voice, but you can just about hear them over the noise of these Ipswich Town fans. This one is going to be special. New season, new teams, new personnel, new rules, but the very same passion. So let's get to it as the players are taking their sides on the pitch. You can hear this one in the company of the former Chelsea, West Ham and Benfica defender Scott Minto, the former Ipswich defender and captain Luke Chambers, and our match commentator today, Joe Shennan. Over to you.
Thank you, Reshmin, and good afternoon to you. It's a brand new Premier League season and it is live on Talksport. 22 years away and Ipswich are back. 2 promotions in 2 years for Kieran McKenna. There's rarely been a better or louder place to be than Portman Road in recent times. And what a way to start, up against a Liverpool team who themselves begin a new era this sunny Saturday lunchtime. A daunting task ahead for Arne Slot after 9 years of such remarkable success under Jurgen Klopp. But football moves on quickly and the title challenge for Liverpool starts all over again here. Ipswich have Walton in goal. Tuansebi, Wolfenden, Greaves and Davis, Morsey and Luongo, Burns, Chaplin and Hutchinson. Behind Delap up front. For Liverpool, Addison is the goalkeeper, Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa and Robertson, Szoboszlai, Gravenberg and McAllister, Salah, Diaz and Jota. For Ipswich, Calvin Phillips and Sammy Smodics among their subs. There's no place for Joe Gomez on the Liverpool bench. It looks like he's set for a move away. 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. We'll have Newcastle against Southampton for you live right now on Talksport 2. It's West Bromwich Albion against Leeds from the Championship. Just use the Talksport app to swipe between both stations at your leisure. What a game in prospect, Scott Minto.
Do you know what? This is what it's all about, isn't it? The Premier League is back. The atmosphere is incredible. We're at a football club that haven't been in the Premier League for the last 22 years. It's great to have Luke alongside us. Producer Izzy was almost going to throw in a resignation if she didn't get this particular game. So she's delighted to be here as well. Massive Ipswich fan. Honestly, it's fantastic.
It means a lot, Luke Chambers, former Ipswich captain, alongside.
Yeah, and you just look at the teams lining up in front of us. They're now in their huddles. But when those Ipswich players turn away from lining up for the photographs and walk down that sea of red and they're meeting Van Dijk, they're shaking hands with Mo Salah, they're shaking hands with Diaz, that's when the realisation that they are now in the Premier League.
In the footballing world, these are the afternoons we live for. Nothing like the anticipation on opening weekend with 9 more months of unrivaled drama from the best league in the world. We've got more than 120 Premier League commentaries this season, more live football on the board than anybody else. And on every Saturday, the only place to be is with Game Day on the Talksport network. Here we go again. Bright sunshine here, Liverpool in red, Ipswich in blue and white, and Liverpool kick the game off here, playing from right to left as we look from the middle of the main stand, right on the halfway line. Early long ball floated forward by Alisson, the flick by Diogo Jota, and here's Luis Diaz down by the corner flag, taking on Wes Burns straight away. Back to Andy Robertson, header away by Jacob Greaves, a new signing for Ipswich Town at the start of their Premier League life once again. 22 years they've been away as Chaplin retreats to win possession back. It's cleared away by Burns, crossfield, right to left, and the ball is going to trickle towards that far side touchline. Leif Davis is across to prevent a throw, and then Alexander-Arnold steers the ball out of play. Game day off and underway. We'll keep you up to date with all of the early games around the grounds around the country in the EFL. And remember, West Brom against Leeds live right now on Talksport 2, but our focus here is on the Premier League. Arne Slot's first game in charge of Liverpool, and Ipswich are back in the top flight. It's 0-0, a minute gone, and here's Scott Minto.
Yeah, it's interesting. We weren't quite sure if they were going to start with 3 or 5 at the back or whether it would be a 4. It has been a 4 so far. But Wes Burns will drop in when he needs to. Leif Davis, I can tell you, is getting as close to Mo Salah already as possible. He doesn't recognise him with that haircut, though.
Ipswich fans out of their seats in delight as Greaves slides in firm but fair to make an excellent sliding tackle on Alexis McAllister. And I tell you what, Luke Chambers, as a former centre-half yourself, the crowd love it and the players on the field will love it as well.
Yeah, what a way to settle yourself down into the first 2 minutes of the game. Greaves has followed Szoboszlai all the way from his left-hand channel into the right side of Ipswich defence, inside Liverpool's half, which is tremendous. They've gone man for man almost to the back now. It's 4v4.
Oh, they've given it away to Hutchinson. Good shot blocked by Quansah. Quansah had to come across there. It was Van Dijk who looked slightly unconvincing in possession. Liverpool playing from right to left in the first half. And at the Sir Alf Ramsey stand, Hutchinson, formerly of Chelsea, has now made his lone move permanent. Looked to bear down on goal from the edge of the penalty area. But Quansah, who is surely now Liverpool's first choice at centre-half alongside Van Dijk, came across to make a very good block.
Brilliant defending, absolutely fantastic defending from the youngster, just coming across, because Amari Hutchinson was one of many who were just pressed. You can see when Liverpool have the ball deep, the Ipswich are not scared to go almost man for man, as Luke was saying. Press, the ball came to Hutchinson, he was inside the box, but Quansah got a great deflection.
Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. Here is Luis Diaz, near side of the field, the left wing position, Liverpool's number 7, forward to Robertson on the underlap, now back out wide to Diaz again. Fascinating to see how Liverpool approach the new campaign with a new head coach, of course. Arne Slot standing on the edge of his technical area now, in a dark shirt, dark trousers, the bald-headed Dutchman, the first Dutchman ever to take charge of Liverpool. And Kieran McKenna just to his right. It's a very tight and compact setting, this. Portman Road, full of character, spruced up a little for the new season, but the atmosphere is tremendous. Delap over the halfway line, and it's evaded Robertson. Burns, right-hand edge of the penalty area. He goes down, no foul by Robertson, says the referee. Played back to Chaplin. Ipswich in blue in possession. Early ball to the back post from Davis, and Davis, can he keep it in down by the dead ball line? He can't do it. It's out of play for a goal kick to Liverpool, but some encouragement early on here, 0-0.
Yeah, what a great ball there from Chaplin. Randy Robertson's nearly cut it out, but Wes Burns hasn't had the best touch to get across him, and it looked like it was a foul, but obviously Mike Dean's way play on.
Yeah, I think the fact that he got up really quickly, I think it was the slightest of touches, but once you do that when you're an attacker, if you're defending, you put your arm on someone and they go down, normally you would see a free kick. The referee wasn't quite sure whether it was a foul, so because Burns got up and carried on, he said, well, OK, decision made for me. But it's the second time in the first 3 minutes Liverpool have been sloppy, and Ipswich are up for this one.
Just over 30,000 here today. Feels like double that. 3,000 have made the trip from Liverpool in red on the far side of the field, occupying about a third of the cobbled stand on that far side of the field. The ball is with Liverpool, and Alexander-Arnold wins the free kick in the right back position. Again, so much to talk about from a Liverpool perspective too. How will Alexander-Arnold shape up positionally? Arne Slot has been quite quiet about that in the build-up. 4.5 minutes gone on game day, and it is Ipswich Town 0, Liverpool 0. Ipswich have never beaten Liverpool here in a Premier League game at Portman Road. Tuan Sebi wins the ball back for Ipswich on the halfway line, but there was an earlier foul in there from Morsey, who was no stranger to being booked in the Championship last season. Tim Robinson, the referee, is going to call over the Ipswich captain. I think it's just going to be a talking to, Scott.
Yeah, look, just on Trent, you mentioned him. I think staying at right back is absolutely right, because Liverpool, for the majority of the games in the Premier League, almost all of them will have the most possessions. Therefore, you can have that sort of midfielder playing at right back and coming in at different times. So why wouldn't you do something like that? But just in Ipswich, they could easily have mentally have gone the other way. All the build-up, 22 years, haven't been in the Premier League. You're playing against Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Sometimes in the build-up to that week, that can take so much out of you that you almost feel a bit leaden-footed. Ipswich players don't feel that right now.
Gravenberg trying to race forward onto a loose ball down the near side the left. There's a yellow card out of the pocket of the referee for Luke Wolfenden. Ipswich born and bred, but it was a cynical pullback on Diogo Jota and a free kick to Liverpool midway inside opposition territory, 0-0.
Yeah, having said that, he should not have gone in the way. I mean, Luke will know in that position. Now, 5-6 minutes in, you're one tackle away from getting that second yellow and being sent off, and your team's down to 10 men.
And that showed you the pressure that they've been putting on Liverpool, but in that position as a centre-half, you have to let him have the ball to feet, cover the channel.
Robertson's free kick into the penalty area towards the back post, and the referee had spotted something that he didn't like, a foul on Jacob Greaves, one of two new signings in the Ipswich 11 today. Liam Delap, who also cost £15 million, is the other. The likes of Ben Johnson, Sammy Smodix and Calvin Phillips are on the Ipswich bench. It is really tried and tested for Kieran McKenna, and it's a tried and tested Liverpool lineup as well. We know that Liverpool are yet to make signings over the summer, but Arne Slot, I think fairly, has said, well, that doesn't necessarily mean they're any weaker. This is still a Liverpool team that many feel is capable on paper of a real challenge again in the Premier League this season.
Luke, let me ask you a question though. You're not Luke Chambers, you're Luke Wolfenden. You're now 5 minutes in, the centre half up against the front three that Liverpool have got, and you're already booked. How are you feeling?
Yeah, you'd have a slight bit of concern there as soon as he reached his pocket, Tim Robinson, and yeah, he's going to have to really temper the way he's approached this game now, because there's going to be times where he's going to be tested for pace in behind, and he's going to have to be really, really smart. And
Ipswich, trying to play out of the defensive third and through the Liverpool press, have conceded a throw deep inside opposition territory at the Sir Bobby Robson end of the ground. We're in the bright sunshine, the Ipswich masses behind the goal on their feet, decked out in blue. The return of the Premier League to Talksport after yesterday's game at Old Trafford. McAllister tries to thread the ball through the middle. It's cleared away by Wolfenden, and Ipswich have it back now with Luongo. He steers it forward to the tall, rangy Delap, who spent last season, when he was at Manchester City, on loan in the Championship at Hull. Back to Morsey, looks to spray it wide to the near side, the right. Robertson slides in to beat Burns to the ball. Robertson, who many wondered whether he'd be fit. Indeed, in the end, he was okay to start. There were thoughts that Tsimikas would play in the left-back position instead. He's only on the bench. Long diagonal ball by Davis, and Robertson with a very calm and cool chest back into the gloves of Liverpool's number one, Alisson.
Yeah, brilliant defending from Robertson. Again, as a left-back, just tucking round, realising you have to leave the man behind you, worry about the man inside, and he chested it back to the keeper. But look, if he's fit, he plays. There's a big difference in quality. But just that was the one position I wasn't quite sure whether he was 100% fit or not.
Hutchinson has given the ball away for Ipswich, and it's rolled through to Diogo Jota over the halfway line. Lovely twist and turn, wriggles it forward towards the inside right channel. Sada's there inside the penalty area. First touch of the game for him, and he wins a corner off Greaves in front of the Ipswich fans. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0.
It's just difficult when they're putting so much pressure on high up the pitch. Jacob Greaves going all the way into Liverpool's final third. Hutchinson turns the ball over, gives the ball away. There's a hell of a lot of space in behind Ipswich, so they've got to be very, very mindful of that.
I just wonder whether Christian Walton could have come out. He came to come, and then he just dropped back in. And from a defending point of view, when you got Mo Salah one-on-one against you inside the box, you're thinking, come on, keeper, help me.
Yeah, you're screaming, come out, but he's obviously felt that's the right decision at the time, and Jacob Greaves has done really, really well to get back in.
Had a lot of football, Christian Walton, it's worth saying. First league start in more than a season for the Ipswich goalkeeper today. Andy Robertson, left-footed in-swinging corner for Liverpool, will do take two in just a moment. Tim Robinson, the referee, pointing towards Diaz, who is jostling with Luongo inside the penalty area. Luongo, who is a physical player, certainly not afraid of that side of the game. Diaz looks appealingly towards the referee, and Ipswich have brought everybody in blue back behind the ball. We're in the 10th minute live on Talksport. 0-0 in the bright sunshine of Portman Road. Ipswich 22 years on from their last game in the Premier League. Whipped in by Robertson, the corner, thumping header away by Greaves through a crowd. Former Hull City player, tall and strong in the back line. Now Szoboszlai, beaten to the ball by Hutchinson. He's roared over the halfway line. Chaplin is to his left. Hutchinson plays it left. Chaplin can't get to it. Beaten by the pace of Alexander-Arnold, and not a well-directed ball by Hutchinson either, and Liverpool are able to clear upfield.
Yeah, the ball was poor in the end. Hutchinson's made great strides winning the ball, but the ball to Chaplin should have been so much more considered, and into his path gave Alexander-Arnold.
Foul by McAllister now on Morsey. That's an Ipswich free kick at the lip of the centre circle, and I tell you what, Kieran McKenna, I think in large part, is going to be delighted with the first 10 minutes of the Premier League season.
Listen, they'll be absolutely delighted with the way they pressed. They've not let Liverpool have much of the ball. Liverpool hardly had an attempt at goal at all. I just feel when you get in those positions, you're not going to have lots of chances, opportunities to do that, and it has to be one, the right ball, and two, the right execution. I actually felt Liam Delap was the better option, but it was a poor pass after good play from Hutchinson, you have to say, originally.
West Brom 0, Leeds 0, live on Talksport 2 right now. as Morsey sends a high diagonal ball out towards the Ipswich left from the free kick. It's only half dealt with by Liverpool. It'll drop down to Luongo on the far side of the field. Further wide is Davis, hugging that far left touchline. The assist king in the Championship last season as Alexander-Arnold thumps the ball away, and the ironic cheers from the Ipswich fans as they win a throw on the halfway line. It is goalless at the Hawthorns, by the way. You can download the Talksport app, and then you can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2 at your leisure. Talksport 2 also available on DAB digital radio and online. Goalless elsewhere in the Championship Leagues 1 and 2 this lunchtime. And 0-0 here at Portman Road. Long clearance downfield by Walton, the Ipswich goalkeeper. The ball is won back by Gravenberch in the Liverpool midfield, and then he tried to knock it forward to Jota. I don't think they were on the same wavelength. Jota may be coming back from an offside position. Ipswich win it back, and then Delap is beaten to the ball by the tackle of Quansah. He's spoken Arne Slot about trying to find a balance between chaos and possession for Liverpool. Lovely ball over the top by Alexander-Arnold. Walton is out quickly to the edge of his penalty area to head it clear. Very good goalkeeping as he beats Salah to the ball.
Much better there from Christian Walton. You could see his starting position. He was looking for that ball over the top, and if Ipswich are going to go man-for-man press, he needs to be on his toes.
Now Morsey, long ball downfield, and Delap has collected it at the other end. He's one-on-one with Quansah. He nearly got past him. Van Dijk was retreating as well for Liverpool, and then there's a foul, a lunge by Hutchinson on Gravenberch. Clumsy late tackle. The Ipswich fans behind the goal can appeal all they like, but it's a clear free kick and actually a yellow card for Amari Hutchinson. Here's the former Ipswich captain, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, you can see the energy and the excitement in the Ipswich Town players, the pressure they're putting on Liverpool all over the pitch, and again it's another one similar to Luke Wolfenham's booking about 5 minutes ago. Hutchinson's given them a free opportunity to relieve some pressure that Ipswich seem to be putting onto them.
The Derby lead Middlesbrough by a goal to nil in the Championship. Caden Jackson, formerly of Ipswich, has got that goal. Derby 1, Middlesbrough nil.
I thought he was going to say it's never a foul. It was a dive there.
He's certainly not afraid to get the cards out early doors. So.
No, but you're spot on.
Allison and Van Dijk under a little pressure as Liverpool again expertly thread the ball forward from the defensive third towards the halfway line. Salah dropping deep into his own territory, overhit the pass towards Alexander-Arnold, but there was a foul by Davis on Salah. Alexander-Arnold chips the free kick high towards the halfway line, and Szoboszlai, the tall Hungarian, elegantly plucks it out of the air. It's Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. With Newcastle against Southampton on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock. Here on Talksport we go around the grounds. Szoboszlai for Salah in the area, across the face of goal, cleared away by Greaves. Backpedaling, not for the first time today, an important intervention from the Ipswich, the new centre-half, and it'll be Liverpool's second corner of the game.
Need to be so careful down that Liverpool right and Ipswich left. Leif Davis, we know what a good player he is, especially going forward. He's a good defender, but he cannot be allowed, not even a one-on-one, but they hit a two-on-one against him there. As that comes out, either Amari Hutchinson needs to drop in that and help him out, or Massimo Luongo needs to come across as well.
And Liverpool all in their familiar red. Van Dijk and Quansah both lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Robertson will take the corner. It'll be left-footed and in-swinging. Whipped into the 6-yard box, headed away. Drops down to McAllister. McAllister, such a cultured player, the Argentine. He strides towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area, so the opposite side. Then his deflected cross reaches Wolfenden, and Wolfenden puts his foot through it, hammers it away into the stands, and it remains Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contract on now, like West Ham against Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports as Liverpool, with 3,000 fans cheering them on, regain possession, and Van Dijk will spray the ball across towards the far side. And Quansah, now Gravenberch, who is seemingly favoured, the Dutchman, formerly of Ajax and Bayern Munich, in that number 6 role ahead of Endo at the moment. That appears to be the first choice for Slot, and that's a lovely ball over the top by Gravenberch, and this time Walton was a little slow to come off his line, although it was well placed towards Salah. Salah stretching, couldn't pluck it out of the air, and it's through to the Ipswich goalkeeper.
Brilliantly timed run for Mo Salah there. There was no pressure on Gravenberch, and Gravenberch looked up, and I'm pretty sure Transabi was keeping him onside across the line. It's so important. But Leif Davis, if he's not 100% sure, he has to try and go with Salah, or at least block him off as well.
Host of Premier League debutants for Ipswich today. Only 33 Premier League appearances in this 11. But the ball is played back to goalkeeper Walton, all in bright yellow. Clearance hangs high, drops midway inside the Ipswich half. Lovely cushion header by McAllister in a congested area to find Alexander-Arnold, who does invert into midfield. Now Szoboszlai from range, as he loves to do. Charged down by Luongo, who saw it coming, and it's out of play. Luke Chambers for another Liverpool corner.
Yeah, we spoke about Trent Alexander-Arnold finding himself in that midfield position. That's exactly what he's done. 16 minutes in. It's a great position for him to find himself. He can then move the ball to Szoboszlai to get his shot off. But fantastic block from Massimo Luongo now. And again, it's their third or fourth corner they've had to defend. So the pressure is slowly building in Liverpool's.
Corner number 3 coming up for Arne Slot's team. In conversation with one of his assistants. Steep drop to the touchline down below us here. Andy Robertson on the far side will take the corner. Again, it will be left-footed. Whipped in dangerously. Here comes the goalkeeper. Punches away one-handed through a crowd. Walton did well. It's dropped down to Salah with his back to goal. And now McAllister. Square ball to Alexander-Arnold. Midway inside the Ipswich half. Hit the diagonal firmly. Headed away this time, though, by Wolfenden. Given away by Hutchinson at the expense of a foul from Luis Diaz. And the ironic cheers will tell you that it's an Ipswich Town free kick. You have to remember, this is an Ipswich team that in the last 2 seasons have picked up 194 points in their 2 promotions combined. They're riding the crest of a wave, and it really feels like that in these first 17 minutes, you have to say.
I think they'll take 35/40 this season.
Absolutely, yeah. That'll still take them to over 150 in 3 seasons. Not too bad.
That will be enough. But I'll tell you what, you said it earlier. Kieran McKenna will be absolutely delighted the way that they've sort of tried to press Liverpool, but just in the last few minutes, as Luke mentioned it, they're having more corners, they're having more territory as well, Liverpool. Very important to ride this little bit out.
Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, the only goal that's gone in around the grounds around the country this Saturday lunchtime. And we'll be around the grounds with Adrian Durham, Dean Ashton and Troy Deeney, part of our team this season, for Game Day Live from 2:30. All of the goals as they go in from the Premier League, the EFL and beyond. Liverpool almost winning it back deep inside the Ipswich half, but there was enough on the deflection off McAllister to send the ball flying back to the goalkeeper. And the Ipswich fans wanted Walton to be more proactive in possession. Aro Muric is injured, by the way. That's why he's not in the squad. He was expected to begin the campaign as number 1, the new signing, but he's got a car problem. And then Robertson now, shoving the back, needless, clumsy on Burns. The ball was surely going to spiral out of play for a throw. And Ipswich win a cheap free kick, but it's in a very good position, this Luke Chambers.
Someone of Robertson's experience and the amount of games he's played and the level he's played at, to give that free kick away at this stage of the game when they're building their own pressure and allow Ipswich a free opportunity to put a delivery into the box, which they've been so dangerous on in the last year, is a ridiculous thing to do at this stage.
Well, Greaves, Twansebi, Delap providing the aerial ammunition in particular for Ipswich Town. How's the delivery going to be for Sammy Morsey, the captain? Sammy Morsey, who has played in levels 2, 3 and 4 of English football, actually like many in the Ipswich squad. 32 years of age, and the referee has moved the ball a couple of feet back towards this near side touchline, and Morsey says, well, I'll grab a couple of yards back anyway. So that was all a rather pointless bit of refereeing. Free kick Ipswich, 0-0 live on Talksport. 20th minute, Morsey whips it in right-footed. He's floated it towards Greaves. He heads it down, but Allison makes the save. Greaves got a clear jump on his man, nodded the ball down, but not with anywhere near enough power to seriously trouble Allison. Stays 0-0.
Yeah, Luke mentioned about how good Ipswich have been going forward, but even on set pieces, so open play and set pieces, you cannot afford to give away fouls like that in those dangerous areas. And again, spot on. Andy Robertson, very experienced player. It's exactly what Ipswich want, and there's a good header, a decent save in the end.
Against the Liverpool side, who was so prolific in terms of their goal scoring last season, not as convincing towards the end of the campaign defensively, Liverpool. What a 9 years it was for Jurgen Klopp. The League Cup winners last year, Liverpool, and 3rd place in the Premier League in the end. Ipswich win the ball back, midway inside Liverpool territory. Luongo through towards Chaplin on that far side, the left. Chaplin lets Delap, his teammate, take it off his toes. Delap, formerly of Manchester City, Now a new Ipswich signing for the Premier League. Chaplin with the bright yellow boots on, diminutive the number 10. He's given it away. A prolific scorer under Kieran McKenna as Liverpool win the ball back, and it's steered high and upfield into the sunshine by Van Dijk. Salah beaten in the air by Davis. Little flick by Hutchinson. That's a delightfully elegant touch. And now it's steered wide towards Burns, who is sandwiched in between two red shirts, but still manages to win a throw. 0-0, 21 minutes play.
But again, that was fantastic pressing from Ipswich there, where you got Virgil van Dijk just kind of realising that he has to beat the press. He's played a high ball, Leif Davis has headed it down, and Ipswich back on the attack again. Even Virgil van Dijk is not able to bring the ball down and look as silky as he can be.
They just can't seem to be able to settle into the game and actually beat the press. Every time they've played around the back, it's been laboured, it's been slow. There's not been any real pace that Liverpool have put into the game so far. So Ipswich have been pressing. They can't just get out. There's one time Gravenberch's found it in the middle of the pitch and played Mo Salah through almost on goal, because that's the time where they haven't quite got the press right. But Liverpool are they're struggling. They're struggling to get out and enter any rhythm with the ball at their feet at the moment.
It's so good to have the Premier League back live on Talksport. The game day phone-in returns today from 5:30. You can have your say on your team, Premier League or otherwise, on 03717 223344. That's from 5:30 here on Talksport. We've got Monday night football for you again this season. Leicester-Tottenham to start us off on Monday evening, as Ipswich win the ball back midway inside their own half the field, and Hutchinson tears away from Gravenberch, who lunged at him, caught him, nowhere near the ball on the stretch. Caught for pace there a little bit, Gravenberch, and I wonder whether Tim Robinson hasn't produced the yellow card, maybe because of the position of the foul, where it was in relation to the field of play. I think some of the Ipswich fans feel that should have been a yellow card. 0-0 it remains.
I'll be honest with you, when I saw it, I haven't seen a replay yet, I didn't think that was a bad tackle. Definitely not a yellow card. I'm questioning whether it was an actual foul. Certainly Gravenberch said he won the ball. I think it was just the angle he came at.
He lost possession, I think, quickly.
And Ipswich have got it back. Ipswich have probably enjoyed more possession than they might have anticipated coming into today, at least so far. We're only a quarter of a way through the game, but they have certainly more than held their own against the Liverpool team, who still have high expectations coming into the campaign. Fouled by Quansah this time. The referee points at where the free kick should be taken. Finger waggling just a few moments earlier, Tim Robinson, in the direction of Jarell Quansah. Ipswich free kick, which is taken quickly to Morsey on the halfway line. Now back to Wolfenden inside the centre circle. The two big centre halves for Ipswich, Wolfenden and Greaves. Hutchinson has dropped deep inside his own half. He was a very exciting player to watch in the Championship last season. Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 0 is the latest score in League One. Carl Winchester with the goal for Shrewsbury Town. Now McAllister picks up possession for Liverpool. Back it goes to Van Dijk. He was fouled, McAllister, caught late by Burns. And it actually has been stop-start in the last few moments, and there'll be a third yellow card of the first half for Ipswich. And Burns now goes into the book. Kieran McKenna glares at the fourth official.
Well, he's caught his kind of Achilles of McAllister, and yeah, you know, if you look at it very quickly, you could say, oh, okay, it's a foul, it's nothing more than that, but actually it was nowhere near the ball. He's almost just scraped the back of the Achilles of McAllister, and that can be very painful.
And when you're a fan and you're seeing these cards come out very, very early, that's when you start to boo and jeer. But in the grand scheme of things, you know as well as I do, Scott, you can't make those tackles. And yes, he's left one on him a little bit, but there's just no need again.
And he didn't need to in that position either.
Well, at least VAR hasn't needed to intervene yet. Welcome to the world of VAR, Luke, on a regular basis this season in the Premier League.
I will get him talking about it at some point.
Oh, really?
If not today, then at another point of the season.
As Alisson clears long for Liverpool towards Salah on the halfway line. Salah gets it back. Neat glide away from Salah beyond Luongo, and now McAllister on the halfway line, near side the left, quickly forward to Diogo Jota as Liverpool look for the opening goal. Jota inside left channel to Ansebi, backing off. Jota has nearly wriggled past him, but in fairness to the defender, to Ansebi, ex-Manchester United and Aston Villa, he stood up well, hacks it away at the expense of what I think has been given as a Liverpool corner on the near side of the field. Equaliser for Peterborough, by the way, away at Shrewsbury. It's 1-1 there. And Alexander Idle will trudge across to take Liverpool's fourth corner of the first half. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. Live on Talksport. More live football than anybody else. It's still West Brom 0, Leeds 0 in our live game over on Talksport 2, which is your home of the EFL once again this season. Exclusive to national radio on the Talksport network, the EFL. Now then, Alexander-Arnold looking up into the sunshine, one arm up into the air. Here comes the right-footed in-swing delivery, and the goalkeeper Walton is there to claim it. A little too close to Walton this time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we talked about set pieces for Ipswich, and Liverpool are not playing particularly well at the moment, so those set pieces are so important. We know the quality that Trent has. Got to make sure that Walton is not able to just make that simple catch. I also think Kieran McKenna will be absolutely delighted that neither Diaz nor Salah have really got involved in the game so far.
Well, it is a change, it is a shift in approach. We knew that would be the case, and of course, for any team after 9 years with the same voice and a slightly tweaked tactical approach, I think they can be forgiven for a slightly slow start by the very high standards that we come to expect from Liverpool. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Yeah, look, we mustn't forget it's the first game of the season. The players aren't properly match fit to how they will be in game 4, 5, 6. And I don't know what you were like, Luke.
Oh, long ball over the top by Van Dijk is an excellent one, and Salah has brought it down with Davis in close attention. Salah tries to cut in field. Davis wins the battle, at least for now, but Jota's there to the loose ball for Liverpool, down by the dead ball line. Davis slides in with an excellent challenge that has the Ipswich fans out of their seats, but once again it's a Liverpool corner.
So again, it's what Scott mentioned earlier. Leif Davis has found himself 2v1 again, which Ipswich need to rectify that. They're trying to play Hutchinson inside the left channel. He's almost playing as a number 10 at the moment, which is leaving Leif especially outnumbered there, but he's done absolutely tremendous to make that recovery. First tackling Mo Salah and then sliding in to stop Jota putting the ball in freely.
Can Liverpool threaten from their fifth corner of the game? Again, Van Dijk, Quansah, Szoboszlai, the obvious target. Jota's very good in the air. Robertson whips it into the 6-yard box. There's a scramble in front of goal, and it's gathered by Walton. I think it was a free kick given to Ipswich anyway. It was. Greaves went down closest to the goalkeeper just for a moment there. Ipswich hearts were in mouths, and it was a shove by Quansah on Greaves that was well spotted by the officials.
Yeah, but that was the type of ball that Liverpool fans want to see that's being whipped in. Christian Walton cannot come out and get that. Defenders, because it was flat as well, the height almost is negated because it's put in with pace and whip, but a lack of height. Good defending in the end from the Ipswich defenders.
Twansebe in the right back position, and then Morsey and Gravenberch go head to head in the middle of midfield. That'll be a fascinating battle as this game goes on, and Morsey wins the mini battle on that occasion. Free kick given against Liverpool. Morsey and Gravenberch, the two players who never shirk a tackle. The referee is just pointing to his ear momentarily as if to suggest there might have been some sort of conversation going on with the VAR. Well, if there was, it's long come to an end, and Ipswich will have a free kick with the score still 0-0.
I thought we were going to get Luke talking VAR then.
Only minutes after I said I thought we'd at least have a half or so. Long ball downfield towards Delap for Ipswich, but he's beaten to it by Quansah, and Alexander-Arnold will clear. First time right-footed over the halfway line, missed by Greaves. Wolfenden with Jota at his back, does enough to shepherd it back to the goalkeeper Walton, who confidently takes one touch to control and then another left-footed to thump it high downfield. Delap is the obvious target. His cushion header goes backwards and away from goal, but the loose ball has been retrieved by Hutchinson now. He's fouled by Szoboszlai. This is not the sort of game that I think Arne Slot will want his team to get dragged into. It's very stop-start and very little opportunity for Liverpool to build anything in terms of dangerous possession, I would say.
Yeah, well, we talked about the press, and Ipswich are just doing it so well. The Liverpool midfield that we said was absolutely top class have not been able to get the ball down and actually pass it, make 3, 4, 5 passes together. There's almost been that long ball with the Ipswich high line that have made Liverpool look the most dangerous.
Arne Slot's first competitive game in charge of Liverpool. Leif Davis pumps the free kick high crossfield, left to right to the corner of the penalty area for Ipswich, headed back across by Greaves, nodded away by Quansah, and then further clear by McAllister for Liverpool. Luis Diaz, what a ball over the halfway line, instinctive on the half, wanting to find Salah. Salah tearing forward as he loves to do. Davis tries to get back at him. There was a deflection, and after a long look at it, the assistant referee signals with his bright lime green flag that it is corner number 6 to Liverpool. But in fairness to Davis, he did well to keep pace with the threat of Salah there, Luke.
Yeah, it's a great ball by Luis Diaz through the middle, and again from a set piece they're looking likely to get back into the, well, I wouldn't say get back into the game, but get their own opportunities on the break, because at the moment, like we mentioned, they're not getting on top of any sort of possession at the moment.
And Luke Chambers, former Ipswich captain, spent 9 years at the club, with us today as part of Game Day on Talksport. Scott Minto also in the commentary box. Now then, Robertson with yet another left-footed in swinging delivery. This one is right on the 6-yard line, headed away by Wolfenden. Comes out to Szoboszlai to strike. Well blocked. Now McAllister beaten to it by Chaplin. And now here comes the counter over the halfway line. Delap to Hutchinson. Ipswich fans are on their feet. Hutchinson edge of the box. Jinks away from Alexander-Arnold. Now can he shoot? He does! And it's saved by Allison. Maybe one touch too many in the end for Omari Hutchinson. He had Delap to his left. He must have seen him. He didn't play it to him, and by the time Hutchinson took the shot, Liverpool had enough red shirts back behind the ball, 0-0.
Yeah, do you know what? It was a difficult one for him, because one, the Liverpool defenders got back very quickly, and two, it was difficult for him to get back inside and put a proper pass to Delap. He's gone past a couple of players, and 18 yards out on the edge of the box, centre goal. I mean, he's hit the target, but he's got to get that more in the corner.
And now a foul by Salah on Davis, and Salah, arms outstretched, a little frustrated as he turns back and forth to look at the assistant referee and the referee Tim Robinson, who's standing on the halfway line. And I'm not sure exactly what he's signalling here as Szoboszlai trots towards the near side of the field to get some instructions for Liverpool. There might be a problem here for Dominic Szoboszlai, and Liverpool are temporarily down to 10 men. The score is Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0, and with 32 minutes into the Saturday Premier League season on Talksport. Luton's goalkeeper Thomas Kaminski has been sent off. It's still Portsmouth 0, Luton 0 in the Championship, but Luton are down to 10 men. Remember, they were thumped by Burnley on the opening weekend, live on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, a latest score. Portsmouth 0, 10-man Luton 0. West Brom 0, Leeds 0. That's live on Talksport 2 in League 1. Charlton 0, Leyton Orient 0. Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 1. And in League 2, Bromley 0, Wimbledon 0. And Carlisle 0, Barrow 0. And you're up to date around the grounds, around the country on Talksport. Wolfenden for Ipswich. We have 12 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Header away by the towering Quansah. Szoboszlai's come back onto the field for Liverpool. They're restored to their full complement, but a loose ball out of defence from Alexander-Arnold. That could spell trouble. Hutchinson, caught on the penalty area, waited too long for the overlapping run of Davis. Alexander-Arnold gets back at him and plays a great ball. Threaded up the inside right touchline for Liverpool. It's travelled 50 yards. Jota's there to collect, and then he tries to play it with the outside of his foot. It's behind Diaz, although there was not enough on it for the ball to go out of play. Diaz has kept possession, albeit the momentum has certainly gone from this particular Liverpool attack. It is an opportunity, a relatively rare opportunity in the game, Scott Minto, for Liverpool to enjoy some possession playing from right to left.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been played at a fantastic pace. It really has, from both sides. As we mentioned, the Liverpool midfield not been able to get hold of the ball. It's probably the first time in the game that it's just slowed down a little bit. They're passing it around and then just see how they can try and open Ipswich up. At the moment, the only way they look dangerous, but they do look dangerous, is that ball over the top.
So 0-0 for the latest odds. You can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now, Ipswich are 7-1 to win, Liverpool 5-2 on. The draw 16-5. And that's a lovely back header from Davis into the gloves of Walton. Don't forget, Betfair are paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute payout. Applies to match odds, 90 market, or markets with the 90 icon. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Have to credit Davis so far, you must say, up against one of the Premier League's all-time greats in Mo Salah, who has a fantastic record on the opening weekend of Premier League seasons. Davis largely, and I say largely, we're only 35 minutes in, has dealt with the threat.
Well, I was just about to say, and we are still far too early to say that he's got him in his pocket. And Liverpool fans will be hoping that Salah hasn't done a Samson with that haircut, because it is a big, big change. But Leif Davis, I think he's been sensational so far. As Luke's mentioned, not just one-on-one, but at times two-on-one against him.
Yeah, he's nullifying every single threat. Apart from when a couple of times Liverpool's midfield have got turned on the ball under no pressure, that's when they'd have an opportunity to play it in behind, and when that happens, it's very difficult.
But he's reading the situation really well, isn't he, in terms of he knows when the long ball's going to come, so that they're trying to play over the top, so then he drops off 2-3 yards, gives himself that little bit of opportunity to head the ball back like he just did. He's reading the game very, very well, but just one slip, one lack of concentration, and Mo Salah, you just know, will be in.
Yes, he's virtually shaven-headed these days, Salah. Here is Robertson in the left-back position for Liverpool. Slightly heavy touch, but does enough to win a throw off Burns. Again, coming into the season, a new season with a new head coach, a slight lack of sharpness, even at the start of a Premier League campaign, is, I think, a little understandable. But, of course, Arne Slot and Liverpool will expect better nonetheless. Capacity crowd at Portman Road, and it's goalless, as the ball is steered forward by Gravenberch, charged down by Connor Chaplin, who, as I say, is the top scorer in Kieran McKenna's Ipswich era. 47 goals he's scored in the last 2 seasons, Chaplin. And the ball has bounced out of play for a goal kick to Liverpool, and Alisson, who's all in black today.
Yeah, Luke, I was going to ask you earlier, I mean, first game of the season, I never felt 100% fit.
Oh, Alisson's giving it away, straight to Davis. Poor ball out of defence from the Liverpool goalkeeper, but in the end, Gravenberch is able to sweep it clear for Liverpool, and now good ball to Jota, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. He's turned away neatly to take 2 out of the game. Brilliant acceleration from Jota, pokes it through the middle, not enough on it. Oh, Wolfenden, he's almost played it through to Diaz. Excellent goalkeeping by Walton. It was a stretch by Wolfenden to try and poke it clear, and what good goalkeeping from Christian Walton, sliding at the feet bravely of Luis Diaz, and he beat into the ball.
And we mentioned how long ago it was since he played his last competitive game for Ipswich in the league. What a performance he's had so far. Every single cross that's come in, every ball over the top, he's judged it perfectly, and the way he's rushed out there at Diaz's feet is remarkable, really, and he's had a great start to the game. Yeah,
Wolfenden couldn't do much else. He got a little toe on the pass, and then he had to try and just dive in, but that's where you want your goalkeeper to be, on his toes. And that's exactly what happened there.
Carlisle 1, Barrow 0 in League 2. And Bromley are loving life in the Football League for the first time ever. They lead Wimbledon by a goal to 0.
That's my local club.
I was going to say, Michael Cheek has got that Bromley goal, looking to make it 2 wins from 2 in the league. Andy Woodman's team.
Charlton still 0-0, is it?
Charlton 0, Leyton Orient 0 is indeed the latest score. Forward by Jacob Greaves, high up over the halfway line for Ipswich Town. At the moment, we've got Championship football on Talksport 2. West Brom 0, Leeds United 0. Make sure you download our app, and that means you can swipe between the 2 stations and listen to Talksport 2. Liverpool want handball against Burns, and handball has been given. He very cleverly there, Luke Chambers, didn't he, on the floor, whipped it away from the feet of Jota, who was outraged by that.
Yeah, he found himself where he didn't really have any options on the ball, and obviously it's a collision. He's gone down and slowly turned his back to the referee and just grabbed the ball with the inside of his forearm.
Well, it's bought Ipswich a bit of time, but it has conceded a free kick. In the 39th minute of the game, a little bit of movement in the stands now. Lots of replica shirts on show. It's a nice, warm, sunny day. Classic early season Premier League Saturday. And of course, the only place to be every Saturday lunchtime is with the Game Day Live team. Tim Robinson has moved the free kick a couple of inches from where Robertson was initially going to take it. Robertson has now just moved it backwards again. A little bit of pantomime here in Suffolk. Robertson, one arm up into the air. Plenty forward in red for Liverpool. He hoists in the free kick. Good header away, that by Davis, retreating back over the shoulder by Van Dijk, and he can't find a teammate. It's through to Christian Walton again. And Walton, that sprawling moment at the feet of Diaz aside, hasn't really had what you'd call a proper save to make yet, Scott.
No, but as Luke mentioned, he's basically come out and been very, when he's needed to with his feet, he's come out and done really well. When he's needed to with his hands and catch crosses, he's done well there. He would have been nervous coming into this game. He hasn't played a lot of football in recent times, and yet the first game of the season in front of the cameras against Liverpool at home with this atmosphere, he's thinking one mistake and I'm in trouble, but no mistake so far.
Liverpool were a bit slow to react then after a free kick was given against McAllister, and now Ipswich have possession with Luongo. About 25-30 yards from goal, albeit on the far side of the field, almost hugging the touchline, and he can't get to the return ball infield from Davis. Nudged towards the edge of the Liverpool penalty area by Morsey, but this time Quansah is there to cushion the header away. And then a foul by Gravenberg, and Liverpool are looking really frustrated here. McAllister was screaming at the officials. Jota's got his head on his hands on his head, and he's sarcastically applauding now Diogo Jota. But Liverpool don't necessarily look rattled, but they just cannot find any rhythm at the moment, and Ipswich can maybe threaten from a set piece here.
Yeah, the question is, can Ipswich keep it up?
They've taken it quickly. Chaplin, angle tight. He's down by the dead ball line. He's faced up by Alexander-Arnold. Back to Hutchinson, who crosses to Ansebe! Looping header onto the roof of the net. Just about as close as either team have come so far.
And it's that relationship built over the last year, especially with Leith Davis and Connor Chaplin. Chaplin's always got his eye contact with Leith. He played him down the side of Liverpool's 6-yard box, and obviously a great cross comes in, and the aerial threat again for Ipswich is there for all to see.
That's Luke Chambers, former Ipswich captain, who maybe was ready to leap out of his seat there for a second, as Liverpool win it back with Robertson. Left back position clears upfield, and now Diaz has evaded Tuansebe, but at the expense of another free kick. Tuansebe went to ground, and boos from the Ipswich fans, who feel, I think, that Diaz should be booked, and no such move made by Tim Robinson, the referee. What a start to the Premier League season this is for Ipswich. 0-0 here against Liverpool. They're away at Manchester City next weekend, and Liverpool have what I think they will consider to be a winnable few opening games. Brentford at Anfield next weekend, and then they renew acquaintances with Manchester United, who really hurt them at times last season in Jurgen Klopp's final campaign in charge. Then it's a couple of home games against Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. We'll be around the grounds in the Premier League this afternoon on Talksport with all the latest. Diogo Jota for Liverpool. Slide tackle from Luongo. Firm but fair. Typical Luongo. And Ipswich fans rise to their feet. So much belief and confidence in this team. They look like they've been playing in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years, let alone the number of debutants in the top flight they've got today. Delap is carrying it down the left. He's away from Quansah. He's into the area. He's pulled it back. It's turned behind by Alexander-Arnold before it can reach the onrushing Chaplin. It's an Ipswich corner. It's all action in the Premier League on Talksport. 0-0.
What a touch that is from Delap down the left-hand side. Brilliant first time. And he had a bit of pace on Quansah as well. I actually thought he should have shot. He's tried to cut the ball back. Liverpool defenders coming in and stopping that and going out for a corner, and still the fans are going mad, but should have had a shot there.
The Ipswich fans at the Sir Alf Ramsey end, out of their seats. They can feel a goal coming here. There are Ipswich fans at both ends of the stadium. 0-0. Davis. 2.5 minutes of the first half to go. Left-footed out swinging. Thumping header away by Mo Salah. Poor delivery. Wolfenden steers it left to Luongo, let it run across his body. Now he tees up Davis. First time left-footed delivery, blocked off by Robertson in the way, in the right-back position. And Davis, whose delivery hasn't quite been there so far.
Long throw here, Joe.
Yeah, here it comes from Davis. He's wiped the ball down, hasn't he, with his blue shirt. Liverpool have got everybody back inside the penalty area to defend this long throw. Hoisted into the penalty area by Davis now. Headed away by Quansah. Drops the edge of the box, flick further clear by Diaz. And now Liverpool can't counter with Szoboszlai. Hooked downfield by Davis again. Robertson heads it away unchallenged. Then Morsey's there to glance it back square. Wide to the near side, and Burns. Burns trying to tear away down the near side, the right. He's a good old-fashioned winger at times, Wes Burns. Back to Hutchinson. Corner of the area. Sea of red shirts in front of him. Can't get beyond 2 of them, and Tuansebe was not strong enough against Diaz, and now Liverpool have got 4 over the halfway line. Diaz to the right, and Salah slightly behind. Salah had to check back as it ran across his body. He's still got possession though, and he's got about 5-6 yards of space to move into as Davis was backing off, but Salah has slowed it down to walking pace into the final minute of normal time at the end of the first half, and still 0-0. Alexander-Arnold now for Liverpool. A little bit leaden-footed in possession just at this moment. But now McAllister trying to make things happen. Middle of the park, slips in Robertson, near side the left. Robertson's delivery, headed away by Wolfenden before it could reach Diogo Jota. Over his shoulder by Tuansebe, away from danger. Virgil van Dijk stretches out a long leg to poke it back out wide to Robertson. Infield to Gravenberch, tight area. Szoboszlai, McAllister, Diaz, right edge of the box. And now Mo Salah tees up Alexander-Arnold over the top. Everybody involved for Liverpool, and when it fell to Alexander-Arnold, so often with that sweep of a right foot, we've seen the net bulge. Not on this occasion. 0-0.
No, it's lovely play from Liverpool. That's the first time they've really got in between the midfield and Ipswich back four. The way they've moved the ball very, very quickly. But I'm just looking forward to this now, this next minute. Once that whistle goes for half-time, the roar you'll hear and the sort of congratulations of the performance for the players today. It's going to be something to behold, I can tell you.
Yep, we are into added time at the end of the first half here on Talksport, and Ipswich are holding firm against Liverpool to this moment. Gravenberch with a heavy touch midway inside his own territory. They'll drop to Quansah, who a little cushioned ball with the inside of his foot to find Alexander-Arnold on the halfway line. 20 seconds of added time at the end of the first half to go. Liverpool now with Szoboszlai, right wing position, but he's held up by Davis. Ipswich funneling players in blue and white back behind the ball. Still the sun shines down here at Portman Road. It's a pitch that is completely sun-kissed, bar the area in and around Addison's 6-yard box. And there's the roar that tells you that it's been an excellent introduction back in the Premier League for Ipswich Town. 22 years they've waited, and they are more than holding their own as of the end of the first half here against a Liverpool team who have struggled for rhythm, certainly struggled for chance creation. Alexander-Arnold over the top at the very end of the first half, easily Liverpool's best chance, but Christian Walton has not had a serious save to make. And at the other end, Ipswich have certainly not looked short of belief. Axel Tuansebe with their best chance, a looping header onto the roof of the net. Much more intriguingly poised, I think, at half-time than many would have felt. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0.
Joe Shennan, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, the players are just heading down the tunnel. It's still as loud, by the way, as it was here before the game. I've got to say, Luke and Scott, you would not think that this is a side who have been out of the Premier League for 22 years.
I don't think Kieran McKenna could have asked of any more, and the performance that his players have and the instructions that they've carried out has been nothing short of remarkable. And barring a goal, which you probably couldn't disagree with, I think they've had a couple of chances, especially from set pieces, where they could have taken something. The opportunity Delap has to play Amari Hutchinson through on goal. If the pass was a little bit straighter, he's literally through on goal from the halfway line. But for a first game back in the Premier League, they look like they've been here for years.
They do. 3 yellow cards, though, in 24 minutes. That's a bit of a baptism of fire, isn't it?
Well, it just showed the press, when me and Scott spoke about it, it showed the press that they are after and what they wanted out of the game, which is unsettled Liverpool. There's no doubt about it. They've been on the front foot. They've won every second ball. And the centre-halves, like I mentioned earlier, have been pressing all the way into Liverpool's half, and Liverpool found it very, very difficult.
Yeah, and they have unsettled Liverpool. They have found it very difficult, Scott Minto.
No, absolutely. And look, they've been nothing short of brilliant, Ipswich. Obviously, it could be better. They could be leading. But in terms of performance, it is everything what the manager, Kieran McKenna, wanted them to do, both with and without the ball, but especially without the ball. Liverpool have not been able to get the ball down and play in midfield at all. They've looked most dangerous when the ball's gone over the top. And Leif Davis, I have to say, I don't know the kid, but I'm proud of him. I'm proud for him to be in the left-back union the way he's played in that first half. He's been nothing short of sensational. He's not just had one-on-one times to deal with. We've mentioned it a couple of times already. Sometimes it's been a 2-on-1 against him. And his defensive ability, even though he's perhaps more known for going forward, I think he's been superb. And it's one of those days where if they keep a clean sheet, whatever you do down the other end, you're absolutely delighted with it. My question now is, can Ipswich keep this up? If they can get something out of this game, maybe even win it. If they can't, from a physical and a pressing point of view, Liverpool will come on strong. You can see they've still got the cobwebs out at the moment, trying to dust them off. They'll be better in the second half. It's a fascinating second half to come.
It really is, isn't it? And exactly from that point of view, Luke, when you look at the lack of experience in this Ipswich side, but the sterling instructions that they've been given, it's that versus all that experience, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and then it's just a perfect example of two teams. One's had a bit of longevity now, 2 years together as a squad, as a management staff. New team, Liverpool, not new players, but new instructions and new guidance. And obviously Ipswich have played exactly how they played for the last 2 years, and they've not changed it in any way, shape or form.
Do you know the biggest compliment I can give Ipswich, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way at all towards Liverpool, if you'd have said which of these two teams were in League One 2 seasons ago, you wouldn't know the answer. And no, nothing against Liverpool, I promise. It's just how well Ipswich have done in those first 45 minutes.
It's been sensational, hasn't it? And the atmosphere, as I say, is absolutely fabulous here. The subs are out on the pitch warming up. The pitch inspection is still happening ahead of the second half, and what a second half we're expecting it to be. As you say, it is neck and neck, goalless in this tie, but Ipswich Town really doing themselves proud as well. You would never think that they've been out of the Premier League for 22 years up against Arne Slot's Liverpool. A new era for both of these sides. Plenty coming up at the half-time, second half as well, up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. Like West Ham versus Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less hassle and more hustle. Less pausing and more pressing on. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
It's McDonald's 50th birthday. So, to get you in the party mood, we're turning our ad breaks into dance breaks. Okay, you start with your left hand behind your head and you put your right arm stretched out in front of you. You're then going to bring these two arms together and do 3 pumps. You can then switch sides and feel free to add a little enthusiastic nose scrunch as you go. And there you have it. You've conquered the sprinkler. McDonald's 50th birthday. You're all invited.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus begambleaware.org.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Game day. Feel the passion and the pride of the Premier League.
Goal-getting radio.
What a turn, what a goal!
Game day exclusive on Talksport.
You are listening to Game Day Exclusive live on Talksport. Here at Portman Road, it is Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. What a first half we've had here then in East Anglia. Over on Talksport 2 in the Championship, it's also goalless between West Brom and Leeds United. Elsewhere, it's Portsmouth 0, Luton 0, Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0. Over in League 1, Charlton Athletic 0, Leyton Orient 0, Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 1. And in League 2, Bromley lead AFC Wimbledon by a 0-0. Carlisle lead Barrow also by a 0-0. Those are all your half-time scores. And now it's time to get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play different this August with a completely free ACCA or Bet Builder each weekend on football. Opt in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and terms and conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Sam Rothbottom from Betfair joins me now. Well, Sam. What have we got here?
Ipswich holding their own, aren't they, against Liverpool? Look, the draw before kick-off was 7-2. That's now shortened to 23-10. Like I said, Ipswich very much holding their own. If you think they can go on and shock Liverpool on the opening day and get a win, they're 6-1. Liverpool, though, firmly still the favourites in this one. Arnie Slot's side, 8-13. Ipswich not making it easy for Liverpool. They're getting stuck in, aren't they? Like you said earlier, 3 cards in 24 minutes for Ipswich. And there were some appeals as well from the Liverpool bench, weren't there, for a second yellow for Wes Burns. If you think that the second half could be a bit scrappy, potentially we could see a red card in the second half. That's currently 16-5 over on the sportsbook.
Oh, we hope we don't see one, but yeah, I can see why you think we would. Sam Rossbottom, always great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. But do go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play different this August with a completely free ACCA or Bet Builder each weekend on football. Opt in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and terms and conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Adrian Durham joins us from Goodison Park, where he will be stationed for Game Day Live. Adrian, how are you? Happy new season.
I'm very well, thank you very much. I've been listening. Listen, Ipswich are doing so well, but I don't know who was it had misgivings about Liverpool before the show, before the game started.
There's some guy.
Okay.
Just thought the manager might not last, actually. I don't know who he could be. But no, do you know what? It's been amazing here. I have to tell you, the atmosphere is absolutely incredible. You know, you go to certain grounds and there's always something sort of magical about it, but this, it means so much to everyone here, so you can really sort of feel it all the way through. The energy is just boundless, actually, here. So Liverpool have it all to do. You're there for Everton, who are hosting Brighton, and it's their first game under Fabian Herzler. Now, I've had to look him up, because what Brighton seem to do is they always seem to manage to find gems amongst sort of places where you wouldn't normally look. And Fabian Herzler is someone who is 31 years old, mainly managed in the lower tiers of German football. Not really had a great playing career either. What did they see in him?
Well, he got some poorly promoted into the Bundesliga last season, and I think that's what they see in him. It's a style of play. He connects with people, he connects with fans, he connects with players, and I think he gets his message across. The only issue with that is it depends what the message is. Now, pre-season or pre-game, he has said we want to deliver Brighton a season to remember. He's got a lot to live up to with that, because they've had a few seasons to remember in recent years. I don't worry about the new manager. We'll see how it goes with him. He might be right, might not. I do worry about the fact that they've lost Pascal Gross, who was incredible for them, one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I think that will be a big miss for them on and off the field, and that's the key with Brighton this season. And one of the reasons I don't think they'll go down, but I think they will struggle this season.
Maybe struggle a little bit. And Everton, obviously, have been the side that perennially talked about for the last 5 seasons or more, really, of just being teetering on the brink of going down, and it hasn't happened, despite points deductions and the rest. And they're still facing this uncertain future, aren't they? Because they're still looking for new owners, and they've got a bit of an injury crisis going into this as well. How do you see Everton at the moment in terms of being able to kick off this Premier League season?
Well, it's going to be difficult because Branthwaite is among those out, and he's obviously key for them. He's still here. He's had a groin up early in the summer. They lost Onana to Villa from midfield, so they've had a few issues. But you know what? I don't think they were that bad last season. With the points they had deducted restored, Dyche would have taken Everton 12th behind Brighton, only on goal difference. They won more than a third of their games last season, and so at Goodison Park, and I just don't think they were that bad. I think he's doing a decent job. He's in the last year of his contract, Dyche, and there's no talk of a new one being discussed as yet, so that's an interesting little angle as well. But yeah, you're right, Illman and Dyer's come in. I think he's a good player. Jacob O'Brien, the Irish centre half as well, so we'll see if they play today. But I don't think Everton will have a problem with Sean Dyche in charge.
Yeah, and surely he's just the solid man, isn't he? Who's just, you hope, will take them through. They all listen to instructions, and he's very much sort of the safe pair of hands, isn't he? What about Newcastle against newly promoted Southampton? That one's our live game on Talksport 2. Of course, Newcastle with Amanda Staveley leaving, and then lots of noise around Eddie Howe, which, he put to bed, didn't he, when he had the chance. Against Southampton, who've just come up. Russell Martin will be champing at the bit to get started. But it's a sort of similar case to this, really. Do they go all out, or do they temper themselves a little bit and change their style a little bit to suit the needs of what this game could bring?
It could be a carbon copy of Burnley, sticking to the style and getting found out. It could be. Russell Martin has got a lot about him. I'm a big fan. But when they play that way and it goes right, they're irresistible to watch. They can be fantastic. Yeah. But they can also slip up. They lost 4 in a row last season in the Championship. In the end, it's what cost them automatic. Tough one to start away to Newcastle, despite all that talk of Eddie Howe for England, or is he going to stay or not going to stay. Not getting Mark Gahey yet over the line. I still think they've got a very good squad. They scored 85 goals last season. Only the top 3 scored more, despite the fact they finished 7th. So, they've got goals in them, and I think Southampton will find it out today. Southampton's recruitment has been, I think, a little bit underwhelming. Adam Lallana's come in, very experienced, but other than that, I don't see any real Premier League quality.
And just while I've got you there, who's your tip to win the Premier League this season?
Oh, Arsenal. If they don't, it's a massive failure, right?
Is it? Well, you're up against the team. Well, for the strides that they've made, and the players that they're buying. But Liverpool were the victims of that over recent years, weren't they? When you're up against the beast of a Manchester City. Yeah, listen, Man City are obviously going to be there or thereabouts, to use a cliche. But the thing with Arsenal, they were 9 points off it 2 years ago. They were 3 points off it last season, or 2 points rather off it last season. They're getting closer and closer. They're recruiting well. They know more and more what they have to do. The slip-ups that they've been making will reduce. I can't see Arsenal not winning it this year. Man City can't keep going again, can they? Oh, I don't know, mate. You tell me. I feel that they can. I think they always can. But anyway, Adrian, great to talk to you as always. Hope to see you very soon. You're at Goodison Park then for Game Day Live, which follows us here on Talksport. And here on the pitch, the players are out. The second half is about to kick off. I feel that there are going to be some substitutions coming up, but I'll let Joe Shennan tell you all about that as we proceed. So Joe is alongside Scott and Luke. Off you go, Joe.
Well, there's been a half-time change for Liverpool. Konate for Quansah. I thought Quansah had a pretty good first half, so you can only assume that is injury related, but without confirmation you can never be sure. Konate for Quansah, the only half-time change. Ipswich have kicked off the second half, playing from right to left towards the Sir Bobby Robson end of the stadium. The great Ipswich hero of the past, of course, the great Sir Bobby. And Liverpool playing from left to right towards the Sir Ralph Ramsey end of the stadium. Liverpool all in red, and Ipswich in the blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. So the two teams unchanged for Ipswich. 0-0 the score. Walton is the goalkeeper. Twansebe, Wolfenden, Greaves and Davis. Luongo and Morsey holding as Liverpool come forward with Luis Diaz. Inside left channel, it's beyond Twansebe, who gets back at him at the last to poke it out of play for a corner. Burns, Chaplin and Hutchinson behind Delap for Ipswich. For Liverpool, Alisson in goal. Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, now Konate and Robertson in the back four. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister, Salah, Jota and Diaz. Sun-kissed pitch here at Portman Road. Lovely warm afternoon. And Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. Liverpool with their first game competitively under Arne Slot have struggled for rhythm. Ipswich have been excellent on their return to the top flight, so far anyway. Corner Liverpool, Alexander-Arnold right-footed, right underneath the crossbar. Walton can't get it away. Luis Diaz trying to hook it goalwards. He's got his back to goal. He set up Salah through a crowd. Brilliant block that by Greaves. Took a double deflection to turn it off the line. Goalkeeper was definitely beaten there as Delap clears downfield, and Ipswich are very, very relieved. Liverpool with McAllister win it back at the lip of the centre circle. He flights a long ball down the middle. Wolfenden will send it back to the goalkeeper. 2 minutes into the second half on Talksport. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0, but a let-off for the home team, Scott Minto.
Yes, absolutely, and we said about how Ipswich were brilliant in the first half, but Liverpool certainly look like they're coming out and got the bit between their teeth. I mean, look, the stats of the first half said Liverpool had more possession, but Ipswich had more chances and on goal. Liverpool didn't have one attempt on goal. I expect that to change in the next 45 minutes.
Alexander-Arnold came closest, but as Scott was alluding to, couldn't find the target. I'll give you the two subs benches in just a moment as well. Ipswich, Slicker, the goalkeeper, the new signing Calvin Phillips, Harness, Taylor, Burgess, Al-Hamadi, Johnson, Townsend and Sammy Smodix, who's arrived from Blackburn. It's a Bosley with a lovely high crossfield ball for Liverpool, plucked out of the air by Diaz, and now he's aggressive into the penalty area. Lovely weaving feet, right-footed shot, and it's miles wide. The build-up was excellent. Mesmeric touches from Luis Diaz coming in field from the corner of the penalty area, but then he balloons the shot over the top. 0-0. Here's the former Ipswich captain, Luke Chambers.
Well, I think we spoke about Liverpool. Can they improve? They've certainly done that in the first sort of 3 minutes. Bosley's touched the ball 4 times, which is probably the amount he touched it in the first half. So he's found himself out on the deep right-hand side. He's sprayed a 70-yard ball out to Diaz, and if he can get on the ball, it's certainly going to change Liverpool's fortunes.
And no signings as yet for Liverpool this summer. There was the Zubimendi saga, which has come to a disappointing end if you're a Liverpool fan. Luongo inside his own penalty area under pressure, and he's had to clip the ball over the top of Wolfenden and out of play. Sometimes surely you have to put your foot through it earlier than that. Liverpool throw 10 yards from the corner flag, right in front of the 3,000 travelling fans who are occupying not far off half of the cobbled stand. Interestingly, here at Ipswich, the away fans are on one side of the ground. That old flat-roofed stand with Ipswich Town Football Club written in white letters at the top of it. Here is Alexander-Arnold, 25 yards out, much better from Liverpool early in the second half. It's still 0-0 on Talksport, and over on Talksport 2 into the second period between West Brom and Leeds. Download our app to listen to that. Here is Robertson. You can also find Talksport 2 on DAB Plus and online. The Liverpool bench, by the way: Kelleher the goalkeeper, Endo, Nunez, Jones, Gakpo, Elliott, Simicas and Bradley as Gravenberch tries to play a ball down the middle towards Diogo Jota. That move breaks down, and now Ipswich from right to left. Charging forward on the far side is Burns. He's beaten to it by Virgil van Dijk, who just scampers across to poke it out of play. For an Ipswich throw, and the capacity crowd at Portman Road have certainly not lost their voices yet, Scott.
Well, first of all, really good play, little 1-2 touch in the midfield for Ipswich. And where's Burns? I'm surprised. He went past Andy Robertson, didn't he, in terms of pace? He looks really sharp, really ready to go, Premier League ready.
And I think we mentioned Robertson's fitness. Is he 100% fit? Well, if you've got Wes Burns running down the wing for the rest of the half, it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up with him.
He'll be tested for sure in the second half.
There's a problem here for Connor Chaplin of Ipswich.
It looks like,
or is it Delap?
Looks like Wes Burns has done his hamstring.
Yep, you're right, Luke. It's Wes Burns. You're absolutely right. Maybe in that surgery run downfield, there might be a big problem here for Ipswich for one of their key attacking players. He is standing. He's not gone to ground, and the physio has come across to have a chat with Burns.
No, just looking at a replay there, Joe. He's coming off, and not only is he not coming back on, I hope he's not out for a period of time, because, yeah, we talked about the burst of pace he had, but the hamstring couldn't handle it.
He's struggled with that last year a few times. He was out for quite a while with his hamstring, so not a good sign for Ipswich.
Well, it looks like he wants to come back on. Unless that was some kind of cramp, which it can't be. And Not right now. That's a big risk to ask them to continue.
Temporarily down to 10 men. Ben Johnson is getting stripped and ready to come on, potentially for Ipswich here. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. 6 minutes into the second half. What a ball, Alexander-Arnold from right to left, trying to find Luis Diaz. Cleared away by a stretching Wolfenden, who has to get in front of Jota this time. Jota's touch was heavy, 25 yards from goal, and now Morsey wriggles away from Szoboszlai. Referee plays the advantage. Burns still hoping to come back onto the field for Ipswich. Chaplin was then fouled, barged into by Diaz. Free kick Ipswich, and they are going to bring Burns back on. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0 it remains on Talksport.
Well, we'll watch this
You two were
space.
baffled by that.
Well, just the way he kind of pulled up on that sprint. It looked like something pinged. What I just wouldn't want, because a player, he's really enjoying himself. It's the first game of the season against Liverpool, part of this Ipswich team that's playing in the top flight for the first time in 22 years. He doesn't want to come off.
Oh, Alexander-Arnold has been beaten to the long pass by Davis on the near side, the left for Ipswich. He tried to set up Delap with the threaded ball to the edge of the penalty area. Delap's touch was a poor one. It cannoned off his shin and bounced away to safety. Then there's a foul by Salah on the halfway line. Quite a lot of activity in the little technical areas. Just below our commentary position here. We're at the front of the upper tier of the main stand, very close to where the main television cameras are. Arne Slot and Kieran McKellar to the edge of their respective technical areas at the moment. Ipswich coming forward now. Davis cuts away from Alexander-Arnold. Lovely ball. Now was that a foul on Delap? The referee has a look, and the referee, Tim Robinson, I think is going to give Liverpool a free kick here. The assistant is certainly flagging for offside in the build-up. And for a moment there, Ipswich thought that a penalty might be incoming as Delap went to ground. Hutchinson with the great feat initially. Davis drinking away from a rather lacklustre-looking Alexander-Arnold, and then Van Dijk on Delap. And the flag was up against Davis in the build-up.
Yeah, he made the initial run, and Leif Davis should be looking across the line. They're looking at the VAR, and then if he is onside, then it's a question as whether the referee thought it was a penalty. But he should be looking along the line, so therefore he shouldn't be offside. But it's one of those where the referee's assistant has kept his flag down. We see it so often because he's not 100% sure. So then we obviously wait to see how the play would develop. They're checking this to see if it is offside.
Very tight. Was Davis offside with Alexander-Arnold? I think the closest defender. VAR is continuing to check this. Ipswich fans in the stadium feel that maybe a penalty might be coming their way. Tim Robinson has spoken with Stuart Atwell, the VAR, and it was offside, so free kick to Liverpool.
Surely they can only be checking for offside if the referee thought that was a penalty. Otherwise, what's the point?
Well, it looked like the referee put the whistle to his mouth to blow for a penalty, and then he's obviously communicated with his linesman.
Absolutely.
So no penalty for Ipswich because of the offside against Davis in the build-up. 9 minutes into the second half on Talksport, and it's still Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. We've got Premier League commentary for you at 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. Newcastle against Southampton here on Talksport. We'll go around the grounds for all the goals as they go in. Dean Ashton and Troy Deeney, part of our reporting team this afternoon. Then at 5:30 you can have your say in the game day phone in 03717 223344 to speak to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy from 5:30 on Talksport. Lovely feet to Szoboszlai, and Alexander-Arnold charges forward. Early ball to Jota, left edge of the penalty area. Churn red in the middle, back to Alexander-Arnold, onto Diaz. He's lofted it over the keeper, over the bar, and onto the roof of the net. He was clattered by Walton. Liverpool, I think, wants a penalty from referee Tim Robinson. It was a remarkable flowing move down the middle for Liverpool, started by Szoboszlai, and they wanted a penalty, I think, for the challenge by the goalkeeper Walton on Diaz, who chipped it over him but couldn't get it beneath the crossbar. Stays 0-0. Scott Minto?
Yeah, no, well, it's really interesting because I wonder whether the little touch from Trent, and it was a beautiful touch, whether he was offside there, Luis Diaz. He wasn't. He's dinked the ball over the keeper, and certainly there can be an argument that Christian Walton has taken him out. But he's had the shot. It's gone over. Liverpool fans will think that should be a penalty. The referee said, no, he's had his shot.
Well, Burns has tried to carry on, but he's going to have to come off here. No question about it. Ben Johnson is going to make his Ipswich Town debut, formerly of West Ham United. One of the most experienced players in the Ipswich squad when it comes to Premier League appearances, of course, Ben Johnson. And what a shame for Burns, the Wales international, who's been such a key for Ipswich over the course of the last couple of seasons, the 2 promotions in a row that they've had to reach the Premier League. But he has to go off on opening day, and here comes Ben Johnson, who can certainly do a job in the right wing position or at wing back.
Yeah, interesting really. Obviously they've got a lot more attacking threats on the pitch, but obviously they feel that potentially Liverpool may get further back into this match, and he's more as defensively solid addition to the team.
He's played for West Ham in that kind of position, almost like 2 right backs down that right hand side, so he'll certainly be very disciplined in that, and he can play anywhere across the back 4 really, and the fact he's going to be playing on the right midfield for the rest of the game shows, 1, the versatility he has, and 2, absolutely that Kieran McKenna trusts him, not just going forward to be good enough, but really helping out defensively. Liverpool have stepped it up in the second half.
We will bring you team news from around the grounds in the Premier League. The 3 o'clock kickoffs very shortly here on Talksport. Adrian and the team. Adrian Durham will take you around the grounds from 2:30. And Szoboszlai has poked the ball into the path of Salah, who's got his back to goal. 10 yards from the edge of the D. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0. As we tick towards the hour mark. Ipswich back in the top flight for the first time in more than 2 decades. Their last opponents in a Premier League game were Liverpool. They were thumped at Anfield by 5-0, and they were relegated. They had never returned up until the end of last season. In fact, Matt Holland, who's sitting in front of us for television, was in the Ipswich team on that day at Anfield 22 years ago, and now he's watching Ipswich back in action in the Premier League again. It's been a long wait, but Ipswich will be hoping it was worth the wait for them, and certainly in this opening 57.5 minutes or so of their Premier League return, they've been excellent. But of course there is always such a potent threat in the Liverpool team. There is more pace and rhythm about Liverpool in the second half. Van Dijk to McAllister, 10 yards into opposition territory, out to the left, and Robertson forward to Diaz, left on edge of the penalty area, pulls it back, Szoboszlai blocked, and now McAllister on the rebound, turned away by Wolfenden in front of his own goalkeeper. McAllister tries to bring it down inside the penalty area. 2 terrific blocks, and Ipswich keep Liverpool out. Alexander-Arnold crosses, Jota an inch wide with the header. He could not have been any closer. Almost kissed the post on its way behind, and Liverpool should have had the first goal of the Arne Slot era.
Has to score for me. Scott will agree, I think. Tremendous ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's what he brings to the team, and especially when you have him outside right, not always into the centre of the pitch. You give him the ball and the opportunity to put it in the way he does. Liverpool should be 1-0 up.
First of all, the way Liverpool played, it was classic Slot, and where I said at the start of the game he's more Pep than Klopp. Get down the wing, cut the ball back, good defending. It was great defending in the end from Wolfenden. But absolutely, Jota, I mean, the ball was whipped in from Trent, but he's 4 yards out, bang in front of goal, and he doesn't get a proper connection on it.
Real jeopardy there for Ipswich Town, but the ball somehow goes wide. Jota, who usually is very good in the air, and given his injury-hit season last year, had an excellent goal-scoring record. 0-0 it stays. Liverpool all in red from left to right. Alexander-Arnold down below us on the near side. Lovely ball threaded through to Salah. He's beaten the offside trap. Square to Jota. There is the Liverpool goal. Flag stays down, and Diogo Jota puts them in front. It's the first goal of the Arne Slot era, and Liverpool are off and running. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 1.
It starts with Konate. He's been brought on at half-time, and the pass he makes to Gravenberch in the middle of the pitch cuts through Ipswich Town, straight into Salah's feet. He turns and spins, and the ball in behind is absolutely fantastic. It's been coming. It's been 15 minutes of all Liverpool. What he said at half-time has certainly got them back on track.
We said, didn't we, at half-time that Liverpool will step it up, and they've done exactly that. The danger signs were there within the first couple of minutes. Just talked about a wonderful opportunity for Jota with the header, and he is good in the air despite him not being the tallest, but that was brilliant play and fantastic running from Salah. Again, we talked about how Leif Davis has done so well against him, but you just switch off just once. The ball was played inside, well-timed run, great pass, very unselfish from Salah, just laying it inside first time. And Jota, well, he's not going to miss 2 in 2 minutes for sure. Brilliant finish in the end, and it's a difficult battle now for Ipswich. He's got to somehow find the way to get hold of the ball, let alone make an attack.
And Liverpool are in again with Salah. He's threaded it through to Jota in the middle that time. The pass was overhit. Salah again inside right position. Tried a square ball. It was overhit too close to the goalkeeper, and Walton gathers. So an hour gone and it's Ipswich 0, Liverpool 1 on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contracts on now, like West Ham against Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports. Right, let's get the team news ahead of our 3 o'clock commentary in the Premier League. It's live on Talksport 2 from St James's Park. Your commentator is Ian Danton.
Well, for Newcastle, Nick Pope is back in the sticks for Newcastle as goalkeeper. Tino Livramento, former Southampton player, preferred to Kieran Trippier at right back. Trippier's on the bench along with Almiron. No debut for Lloyd Kelly at the back for the Magpies. 2 debuts for Southampton, though, on their return to the Premier League. Ben Brereton Diaz and Yukinari Sugawara, both handed starts by Russell Martin. Newcastle United against Southampton.
And Liverpool want a penalty. Robertson surging into the box. It took a double deflection, and VAR and the officials are going to be a little more consistent with how they apply the handball rule, particularly accidental handballs across the course of the Premier League campaign. It did hit Wolfenden on the elbow, but no way was his arm in anything like an unnatural position. Throw to Liverpool, who lead by a goal to nil. They go back towards the halfway line, and Van Dijk, Jota with the goal that has put Liverpool into the lead, and they work it wide to Alexander-Arnold, and now Robertson again. Far side the left, Liverpool content to keep calm, composed possession. Let's get team news from the Emirates with Alex Crook.
Ricardo Calafiori is Arsenal's only summer signing of note. He starts his Premier League career on the bench. As for Wolves, they spent big on Norwegian striker Jorgen Strand Larsen. He makes an immediate debut. It's Arsenal against Wolves at the Emirates.
Jota dancing feet down by the dead ball line, and the cross is deflected behind and out of play for another Liverpool corner. Liverpool at the moment are really on top, Scott Minto.
Ipswich has got to hang on in here, just ride this out. Liverpool, well, even before the goal and even at the start of the second half, really have stepped it up a level or two. Ipswich is still in the game. There's only 1 goal difference. If it goes to 2, they're not coming back from it.
Robertson will take the corner in front of those now jubilant Liverpool fans. Red banners and flags and scarves being held aloft. The corners of Liverpool at the Sir Ralph Ramsey end. It is they who lead 1-0. Taken short by Robertson, back to Alexander-Arnold, left with the edge of the 18-yard box. Robertson calling for it again, takes one touch control, peels it back to Alexander-Arnold once more, and feinted to cross in front of Chaplin, and in the end Liverpool get it all wrong. Ipswich clear, Chaplin, great reverse ball, high over halfway. Delap is on the attack, only Hutchinson up with him. Delap bursting beyond Szoboszlai, he turns inside the area, goes down, I think looking for it, quickly in the end got to his feet. No penalty given by the referee, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, I don't think it was a penalty, and he's gone down and he's jumped straight back up. It's an almost role reversal, though. Liverpool have come out and played as if they were Ipswich now, and Ipswich are now struggling to get a foothold in the game. Anytime they're looking to make any sort of damage is on the break with minimal numbers, and they found themselves in a good opportunity there.
Ipswich readying changes. Everton preparing for their final season at Goodison. They take on Brighton today. Matt Jones has the team news.
No Jarrett Branthwaite for Everton due to injury, so Michael Keane starts in defence, while there is a debut for summer signing Tim Irabunam. Lundstrom, O'Brien and Ndiaye are all on the bench. For Brighton, Mats Wiefer and Yankuba Minte are straight into the team after their transfers from Feyenoord and Newcastle, as the Premier League's youngest head coach Fabian Hürzeler takes charge for the first time. Everton against Brighton from 3.
A double change for Ipswich. Taylor and Harness onto the field for Luongo and Chaplin. Here is Salah for Liverpool, corner of the penalty area, looking menacing again as he jinks infield, finds Szoboszlai, good first touch, back towards Salah, throw deflection, Salah pokes it in. Another opening day goal for Liverpool's main man, Mo Salah, and that surely finishes off Ipswich here at Portman Road. Salah celebrates having poked it under the body of the goalkeeper. Ipswich's resistance had been excellent up until now, but Liverpool have taken complete control and they now lead by 2-0.
And again, it starts with another centre-half. Virgil van Dijk's hit the ball 70 yards straight to Mo Salah's foot over the top. He's tucked back inside. We spoke about Szoboszlai. He's rolled it into Szoboszlai, who's then slipped Salah through on goal, which is a lovely little finish.
Yeah, do you know what? Leif Davis is unlucky there because he's gone to almost play a 1-2, Mo Salah. It's Tuanzebe who's keeping him onside with that 1-2 with Szoboszlai. He's got a touch on it, but it's not enough to go to Christian Walton, and it's too far for him to get that second touch. And we know what Mo Salah's like in those situations on his left foot. It's a wonderful finish, and it's a massive, massive uphill battle now for Ipswich Town.
So 2-0 Liverpool, 20 minutes into the second half, and let's bring you team news from the final 3 o'clock kick-off in the Premier League of this afternoon. Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth, and it'll be watched by Jeff Peters.
No debutants in the Forest lineup. Anderson, Miguel, Moreira and Jota are new boys on the bench. Milenkovic suspended. Wood preferred to a 1 year in attack. No place in the matchday squad for Bournemouth's record signing Evan Nielsen. Dutch-born Spanish defender Dean Howison is the only new face in the Cherries starting 11.
Thank you, Jeff. And we will be around the ground with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney and Dean Ashton, plus a classified results at 5 o'clock on Talksport. Talksport 2 will bring you Newcastle against Southampton. Here's an opportunity inside the penalty area for Harness, maybe, having just come onto the field for Ipswich Town. He sets up Delap. Lovely quick feet down by the dead ball line, but in the end he can't make anything of it. And very few goals in the EFL, by the way, so far today. There's a little touch by Taylor for Ipswich from the edge of the box, out wide to Harness with the green boots on, down by the dead ball line. It's Davis crossing in left-footed and a header away by Ibrahima Konate. And just as I say that, Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 2 is the latest score, so Peterborough have come from behind to lead as Davis delivers again, and it's come to Hutchinson, who hits it over the top on the volley, and it's Bromley 2, Wimbledon 0. That was a half chance for Ipswich, Luke Davis.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Ipswich, it's fell to Hutchinson on his right hand side. If it's on his left hand side, you'd be expecting the net to ripple, but unfortunately he couldn't get over it.
It's Luke Davis, Luke Chambers. Apologies. We're all a bit rusty at the start. Well, maybe just me. As Allison thunders the ball high downfield up the middle for Liverpool, who lead by 2-0 going into the final quarter, and they really have a grip on the game now.
Do you know what, though? Luke's spot on. On his left foot, it's a full chance. On his right foot, on the volley, it's a half chance. My old man used to say to me, footballers shouldn't have a wrong foot, but we do.
Here is Gravenberg for Liverpool, charging up the middle, and Ipswich look like they're tiring now. Lovely way to pass. Diaz could be in, round the goalkeeper. His touch has taken him wide, pulls it back towards Salah, couldn't find Salah. Steered away by Taylor for Ipswich. Liverpool have looked very sharp going forward in the second half at times here, and they nearly scored a third. Diaz couldn't find the angle. They might be in again. Jota dead ball line. Dinks in the delivery. Away by Tuanzebe at the back post. And Liverpool look relentless now, leading by 2-0.
This would be a real shame if Liverpool win this by 3, because it's not been a 3-0 game. But I tell you what, the way they've played in the second half, the way they've stepped it up just before that first goal. You think about that headed miss from Jota, then 1-0, then 2-0. They're going for the kill here. They're going for the third.
Alexander-Arnold is standing over the corner for Liverpool. That'll be corner number 8 of the game. And it's gone very quiet in the home areas of Portman Road, you have to say. Understandably so. Van Dijk and Konate both lurking for Liverpool as the sun comes back out again in Suffolk. Alexander-Arnold hangs one up high. Van Dijk climbs. It spins off his forehead, but nowhere near going towards goal. And Harness smuggles it away for Ipswich. Diminutive attacking player. This time Alexander-Arnold gets in front of Hutchinson. And still West Brom 0, Leeds United 0. In our live EFL commentary this lunchtime over on Talksport 2. And just download the Talksport app and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. We've got EFL commentaries tomorrow. Sunderland against Sheffield United at midday, and Bolton against Wrexham at 3 o'clock from 1:30 on Talksport. Sam Matterface will have the Sunday session, all the goals as they go in. So we've got you covered, as ever, across the Premier League weekend. And Monday Night Football as well. Leicester against Tottenham is live and exclusive with us, as Van Dijk rolls the ball back to goalkeeper Addison. West Brom 0, Leeds 0, Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, Portsmouth 0, the 10 men of Luton 0. In League 1, Charlton 0, Leyton Orient 0, and Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 2, Bromley 2, Wimbledon 0, and Carlisle 1, Barrow 0. Liverpool lead 2-0 here, and they look very convincing. Here goes Szoboszlai, down the middle, Salah, clear on goal again. Oh, and he got nothing behind it. It's an easy save for Walton.
I tell you what, it's an easy chance for Salah, 18 yards out, right in front of goal. What a pass that was from Szoboszlai. He could easily have just played it out wide to Trent. He didn't. He whipped it round the Ipswich back four. Should have been 3-0.
Mo Salah, by the way, is now the all-time Premier League top scorer on the opening weekend of the season. 9 times now he's scored on opening day, the Liverpool forward. More than anybody else, more even than Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer, who Salah had been tied with up until a few minutes ago. Oh, lovely ball over the top by Wolfenden. Marcus Harness shoots. He brought it down and hit it on the half volley from about 8 yards out, but the flag was up anyway. So even if he had found the net, it wouldn't have counted. Stays 2-0 Liverpool with 19 minutes to go.
It's been a good reaction though, Luke, hasn't it, going forward for Ipswich? They're very much under pressure. Class is telling now in the second half, but you can see the character is there. They're not giving up on it. They're still trying to get back in the game. They are able to make it 2-1, then you just never know.
Yeah, but it's that bit where they have to stay in touch with the game. They can't go all out and try and get back in the game too quickly.
Flooding forward with abandon now, the red shirts of Liverpool, and Luis Diaz scampers into the area, cuts it back across, and Davis presents what would have been a certain goal for either Salah or Szoboszlai by nipping in between the two of them and facing his own goal, hacking it away. Throw has been taken quickly by Robertson to Diaz, who's toying with Johnson, the new Ipswich right wing-back. Robertson trying to win a throw down by the corner flag. This time Johnson gets back and receives the return pass from Twansebe. Ipswich haven't really been able to get out of their own half since Liverpool took the lead in particular. 2 goals they've now scored. Alexander-Arnold, 5 yards from the edge of the D, in a central position. Now McAllister square to Szoboszlai. Ipswich with plenty of blue shirts back behind the ball, but that won't stop the drive of Salah. Almost worked it onto that favoured left foot. Davis saw it coming. He and Harness did just enough to keep Salah in his tracks. Jota and Salah for Liverpool. 2 goals in the space of 6 second half minutes, and 17 and a half to go plus added time. Even with Ipswich's resilience and record of scoring late goals last season, it's hard to see a way back into this game for them now.
No, well done Sam Morsey though, always wanting the ball even in really difficult situations.
And Delap for Ipswich, the central striker. Crossfield with an elegant ball, it flies through the air towards Johnson, but he can't keep it in play on the far side, the right wing position, and it's a Liverpool throw in their left back spot. Liverpool have started to bring the control as Ipswich make another couple of changes. Ali Al-Hamadi, who at one stage last season was playing at the very bottom of the lower leagues, is going to take to the field, and there'll be a debutant introduced as well. Sammy Smodics, the top scorer in last season's championship, is going to come on. So Al-Hamadi, who joined from Wimbledon in January, and Smodics onto the field, and it's Twansebe and Delap who are the 2 to go off. What do you make of that, Luke Chambers?
Well, he's obviously having to make changes to try and freshen up the side in attacking sense, so you've got to bring on your brand new signing for £10 million, the top scorer in the championship, earlier than late. So it's an opportunity for now. Try and get themselves back in the game without, like I said earlier, leaving those gaps on the break for Liverpool to expose them with.
Amazingly, Smodics has already scored 3 goals this season for his former club Blackburn, 3 in League and Cup across the course of the season so far. He makes his Ipswich and his Premier League bow today, as does Al-Hamadi. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2.
Yeah, and Ben Johnson can just drop into right back with Twansebe off. He's got to go for it now. Of course, he doesn't want to be hurt and falls and that, but it's got to be seen to be going for it. They've got a star signing in great form already from last season and the beginning of this. Get him on the pitch.
Conor Bradley to come on shortly for Liverpool. Rampaging down the right-hand side is Szoboszlai. He's evaded Davis. Early cross headed away by Greaves, facing his own goal. Excellent athletic header from Jacob Greaves. And now Smodics with his first touches in an Ipswich shirt. A lot expected of him. And there will be, from Ipswich's perspective, maybe some more winnable games to come, but before that they've got to travel to Manchester City next week. 15 minutes to go here, 2-0 down to Liverpool. Certainly no disgrace, and Kieran McKenna of course will do his best to keep morale high. Taylor, midway inside his own half. He has broken between the lines a little here, Taylor. He's chipped it high over the top. Smodics, flag stays down initially, and then eventually it goes up. Alexander-Arnold, not to worry for Liverpool, was there to win it back. I think he's going to come off shortly, Alexander-Arnold. You're with Talksport. We've got our Around the Ground show, Game Day Live, coming up next for you. Newcastle against Southampton will be on Talksport 2, our live and exclusive commentary from the Premier League at 3. And then from 5:30, the Game Day phone-in with Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara, 03717 223344, as Liverpool look set to start a new era with a victory. And here is that change for Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold replaced by Bradley and Scott Minto. It will be interesting to see how Alexander-Arnold is deployed and how everything works positionally as the season goes on.
I don't think anything will be changed. As I say, Liverpool will 99 times out of 100 in the Premier League will have the majority of the possession, so you're missing out on a midfielder if you put him in midfield, because he can always go into that midfield position, or as we saw just before the goal, get out wide and whip a great cross in. It's not Arne Slot saying, look, we've won the game, we're done now, because Conor Bradley's a very, very good player, but very different right back in himself, but he still needs to be managed. A lot of these players needs to be managed. It's the first game of the season, they're not 100% match fit.
Bradley goes straight to right back and gets straight on the ball. Right on the near side of the field in front of his manager. Neat pass infield to Salah. Salah with the outside of his foot. Delicious pass into the path of Luis Diaz. Cuts it back. Alexis McAllister fumbles his first touch. Cleared away. It's come back down to Salah. That was another lovely flowing move from Liverpool that sort of built its way through the thirds. And I think a lot of encouragement for Arne Slot about the way Liverpool have attacked in the second half. It's 2-0 here to Liverpool against Ipswich. The latest odds with Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now the draw 66-1, Ipswich to win 500-1, and Luis Diaz to score or assist 11-2. Don't forget Betfair are paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with a 90-minute payout. Applies to match odds 90 markets or markets with the 90 icon. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18+, begambleaware.org. Ball is played back to Robertson, corner of the box. Lovely cross. Jota's header just glanced off the top of his head. Couldn't get enough on it to divert it towards goal. And it goes out of play. It does feel, Luke, that for your old team, Ipswich, in the end, 12 minutes to go, but the first game back in the Premier League is peaching out a bit here, I think.
Yeah, and you can't really complain because Liverpool have been absolutely sensational since half-time. They've come out the way they've played. They've played exactly how Arne Slot wants them to play. So through the lines, Trent, like we said earlier, Alexander-Arnold's held his width, which has allowed Liverpool to break through the lines. I think in the first half they were just trying to make it too compact, which was playing into Ipswich's press and their numbers in the middle of the pitch. But the way they've attacked has been unbelievable.
And now the next change for Liverpool is Gakpo onto the field for Jota. We saw Cody Gakpo at the European Championship really light up the tournament for Netherlands. 3 goals in 6 appearances at the Euros. The Netherlands, of course, beaten by England in the semi-finals, but that was encouraging. And now a straight swap at left back for Liverpool too. Tsimikas for Robertson, and I think to have got Robertson through the best part of 80 minutes is important for Liverpool as well, because there were concerns about a little minor niggle that he had coming into the game.
Well, he's also been injured, hasn't he, since the Euros, and I actually thought he might be the first substitution, the first person to come off. You know, obviously that was Trent, but talk about players needing to be managed. Andy Robertson for sure. That is almost 80 minutes under the belt, and you know what? It's been tough for him, but as ever, he stood firm, and in the second half, like his teammates, I think he was absolutely superb.
So Tsimikas for Robertson, part of the double change for Liverpool. Just over 10 minutes to go. Elsewhere in the Premier League today, Arsenal against Wolves, Everton against Brighton. Last season for Everton at Grand Old Goodison Park. Newcastle Southampton is live on Talksport 2. And Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth, West Ham Villa at 5:30. Here's El Hamadi through the middle for Ipswich, and he forces a save out of Addison, and Van Dijk has beaten Harness to the second ball and poked it out of play. I think the flag has gone up from the assistant on that far side anyway. El Hamadi was offside. He took it down out of the air beautifully, didn't he, Luke Chambers, but in the end denied by the flag.
Yeah, it was a lovely turn from Sam Morsey. He's played it over the top, but you can see from where we're sitting it was offside immediately, so it still baffles me to this day that they allow play to continue and risk collisions and injuries and decisions to be made when it's just an easy offside decision.
And there might be another injury concern for Ipswich here, and is that the main man, Sam Morsey, the captain, who's gone down. Now that is worrying, after Burns left the field earlier with what could be a really problematic muscle injury. You don't see Morsey go to ground very easily, and he's sitting up and being treated by the Ipswich physio. But Kieran McKenna, on a day where Ipswich don't look like getting a result, but there have been There's several positives, certainly from the first half performance. I don't want to end the game with losing 2 key players due to potential injuries.
Well, Calvin Phillips isn't warming up.
No. He's very much sitting in his position in the dugout, the leather seats down below us.
Sam Morsey, though, just is so key to this football club. He really is. Just being one central midfield, but 2, there were a couple of times there where they're under pressure. Liverpool are already 2-0 up. They'd had a couple of extra chances, and yet he was always making himself an option, even though he had someone right round the back of him for the centre-half, so it wasn't just a long ball in. He shows the character, and it's not just what you see in a Saturday afternoon. You know, what we see in a Saturday afternoon is a culmination of all the training throughout the week, both on the training pitch and in the dressing room as well. And he's an absolute leader, and there's a lack of Premier League experience in this Ipswich Town squad, and he's obviously one of them, but he doesn't lack in terms of character. And this club, if they are to stay up come towards the end of the season, need him playing as many minutes as possible.
International teammate of Mo Salah at Egypt. Sam Morsey, 32 years of age, his Premier League bow today, and a great experience for so many of Ipswich's 11, and indeed the subs have come on. And ultimately, though, it is looking like it will end in defeat. 8 minutes to go, and Liverpool are just popping the ball about neatly. No need to rush their play. Van Dijk with an elegant diagonal ball to the near side, the right. Salah with a less effective cushioned little touch off the inside of his right foot. Mo Salah, who has scored 20 or more goals in all competitions across all of his 7 seasons for Liverpool. He's off and running. Jota's off and running. And Liverpool are 2-0 up here, live on Talksport. Still West Brom 0, Leeds United 0, over on Talksport 2. Live right now on your home of the EFL. Little touch by Gakpo back to Szoboszlai. He works it wide to Bradley, who is deep inside the Ipswich half. Bradley's little touch, flick in field by Szoboszlai to find Bradley on the underlap this time. And Bradley faced up by a sea of blue shirts, so Liverpool just continue to keep relatively comfortable possession. Van Dijk's flicked it over the top of Hutchinson, and now a little twist and turn from Diaz with Johnson in close attention. And that has gone out of play for an Ipswich throw, and they've tried to take it 10 yards up the field, and rightly the referee says you're going to have to go 10 yards back. I wonder what Kieran McKenna would have made of his first day as a Premier League boss. He stands, hands in pockets, the Northern Irishman on the edge of the technical area here. A lot of excitement for Ipswich fans in that first half in particular. In the end they have faded, but it's certainly not been too damaging an afternoon, Luke Chambers.
No, and I was just thinking there, who could you say for Ipswich has had a poor game today? They've all been very, very competitive. They've all carried out their jobs very, very well. But the Liverpool team we've seen in the second half compared to the first has been night and day. And that just shows you the level that they've now entered into.
Let's not forget, we've got one team here who could be going for the title. Another team who 2 seasons ago were in the 3rd tier of English football.
It's opened up for Mo Salah here, 35 yards out, centre position, quickly forward to Gakpo. He can't get away from Wolfenden. Gakpo is a little static there. Salah, you wouldn't have forgiven him racing forward as he did into a pocket of space to lash it goalwards from 25-30 yards. Now Smodic's raiding right up this near side left touchline for Ipswich. It's hammered out of play by Szoboszlai. That nearly hit his manager. Nearly cannoned into Arne Slot.
He moved out the way very...
yeah, he's okay, isn't he?
And very agile.
He'll be relieved, won't he, Scott? I think not necessarily more than anything, but the opening day, you told me before the game that coming into an opening game was always the most nervous, perhaps uncertain that you feel as a player going into a new season. So the win was most important for Liverpool, and it looks like they're going to get it.
Yeah, I was at my most nervous the first game of the season because the fun, in inverted commas, of pre-season had kind of gone. This is the business. You don't quite know how the season's going to go. You obviously haven't had time to get into the groove of things, and you're not really 100% fit, match fit anyway. So you are always a little bit anxious, but I think we saw that in the first half where Ipswich just went for it, feel they've got nothing to lose. Liverpool had a bit of the cobwebs to dust away, but second half we asked the question, can they step it up? Can Ipswich keep it going? Well, we clearly answered by Liverpool, and as long as they don't get done by 3s and 4s, Ipswich can take a lot out of this game. It's when it's like 4-0, and then you've got Manchester City coming up as well, that then starts to ebb away at the confidence.
Davis trying to drift infield from the left wing position. He's found Smodic's good touch, and now Al Hamadi shoots from the edge of the penalty area. It's deflected behind, but again the flag belatedly goes up. Van Dijk is upset with that, feels that it should have gone up straight away, the Liverpool captain. Arms outstretched, he looks towards the referee. That's the way that things are these days. And so Liverpool get a free kick anyway, but Van Dijk feels it should have come before Al-Hamadi, who's looked lively since coming on. Great story, Ali Al-Hamadi. Used to play for Liverpool schoolboys. He moved to Liverpool at the age of just 1 because of the war in Iraq. And he has risen up the leagues with Ipswich Town. Fantastic story. The ball is now with Gravenberch of Liverpool, midway inside his own half, under pressure, dinks it into the right back position, and Bradley, he scoops it over halfway, easily cleared by Greaves, and now Davis on the halfway line for Ipswich, who are 2-0 down with 3.5 minutes of normal time to go, and it feels like the jeopardy in large part has gone out of the game. West Brom 0, Leeds 0, Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, Portsmouth 0, the 10 men of Luton 0 in the Championship. Here come Ipswich as Van Dijk gets in front of Hutchinson to knock it out of play. If they could get a goal here, it would be interesting.
Oh, it's always difficult, especially when you concede one late here at Portman Road. The crowd will get right behind them, and it'll be a nervy finish for Liverpool, but there's going to have to be a tremendous turnaround for them to create something now.
25 league goals in the final 15 minutes of games last year for Ipswich, and they recovered so many times from deficits to go on and win games or get something out of matches. It certainly looks unlikely today against a dominant Liverpool performance in the second half from Arne Slot's team. Good work by Johnson to win Ipswich a throw right by the corner flag. A couple of big blue banners away to the far side, and Ipswich fans everywhere you look at on their feet watching the finish to this game. It'll be a long throw by Johnson. Al-Hamadi back to goal, chests it down. Marcus Harness takes over, wriggles into the box, back to Taylor, steers it square. Under pressure, couldn't find a teammate. Liverpool are on the break, they look dangerous. It's 4 against 2 here. Szoboszlai can pick his spot. He finds Luis Diaz, charging through the middle. Diaz into the penalty area, spinning, turning, shooting. It's cleared away. Diaz couldn't quite get the ball from out underneath his feet, and it wasn't a clean shot. Here's Salah, right on edge of the area, threads the ball infield. Poor clearance by Taylor of Ipswich. It's come back to Gravenberch, who slows the game to walking pace. Last 2 minutes of normal time. In League One, still Charlton 0, Leyton Orient 0, Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 2, and Bromley looking for back-to-back wins now in the Football League. Lead Wimbledon by 2-0, and Carlisle 1, Barrow 0 is a latest score. Some of the pace and flow of Liverpool in this second half has been really enjoyable to watch. The interplay, and I wonder what Arne Slot will have made of it all. I wonder what you've made of it, Scott. Has it been more or less chaotic than Jurgen Klopp, or something similar? We'll get a word from Scott in just a moment as Liverpool come forward again. McAllister chips the ball from the edge of the centre circle, wide left to Diaz. 2-0 Liverpool lead. Tsimikas back to Diaz. Now McAllister, 30 yards out, left of centre. Ipswich with everybody back behind the ball now. Ipswich fans still singing defiantly, but it's Liverpool who are comfortable, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, first of all, Arne Slot will be absolutely delighted. It's a win at a difficult place. We're in a difficult atmosphere as well. But yeah, look, you look at the second half, and what's happened. We asked the question: can Ipswich keep this up in the second half? And from a physical point of view, it's so difficult to do that in these type of conditions. Very hot out there. But what have Liverpool done? Well, they've got the ball down a lot quicker. They've looked after the ball.
Might be a problem for Bradley, nearly dispossessed by Al-Hamadi, and Alisson had to be alert. Good starting position as ever from the Liverpool goalkeeper, edge of the box to clear it away.
Yeah, they've passed the ball better, and when they've got into the final third, or at least looked to get the two wide players involved a lot more, they've been really at it as well in a one-on-one situation. So Ipswich, we're always going to struggle to keep this kind of intensity up in the second half. 2, Liverpool, I think, have been absolutely superb in this second time, and now I have to say, as good as Ipswich were, it's definitely a 2-0 game.
8 minutes of added time. That brings a bit of cheer for the Ipswich fans. Surely not. 2-0 down. Konate has the ball for Liverpool. Konate, a half-time substitute, on in place of Jarell Quansah. Around the grounds we go very shortly here on Talksport. The Premier League, the EFL and beyond, with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney, Dean Ashton, and our team of reporters across the country. We've got a classified results service for you at 5 o'clock on Talksport. Talksport 2 will bring you commentary shortly of Newcastle against newly promoted Southampton. Be fascinating to see how Southampton, with the Russell Martin approach, take to life in the Premier League. Salah's dropped into the right-back position and he's chipped an awkward ball back to Alisson. Alisson ever confident, controls.
I'll tell you what, Joe, those 8 minutes have come up and Ipswich will never admit it, but they won't want 8 minutes.
Tsimikas over the top, they're hopelessly caught here, Ipswich. It's Gakpo's deflected ball towards Diaz at the near post, and Jacob Greaves did very well sliding in to turn that behind for a corner. Greaves, I think, has been impressive, had a real touch of class when he was playing for Hull in the Championship last season. Luke, former centre-half yourself, he did excellently there, didn't he?
Yeah, the speed of Liverpool's breaks this half has been fantastic, but Greaves has really stayed with Luis Diaz there. He's made a tremendous block, and like you say, I couldn't agree more. I think they've all done very well, but Greaves today has been really impressive.
Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 3, the latest score in League One. Joel Randall has wrapped up the points for Peterborough United. Nearly 2 minutes into 8 added here at the end of the game on Game Day on Talksport. Corner to Liverpool, drifted in towards Van Dijk, headed away, come out to McAllister, who on the volley almost scooped the perfect pass wide to the corner taker, Szoboszlai. He was obviously going for goal, McAllister, but it was nearly a very unorthodox ball on the volley. Out of play for a throw.
It was a great ball out wide. He's got to be on his toes, Szoboszlai.
Yes, it was a miscontrol, wasn't it, more than anything. Now 4-1 to Peterborough United away at Shrewsbury Town. Impressive comeback victory from Peterborough. They were 1-0 down at one stage in the first half. 2-0 Liverpool lead. Liverpool, who will face Brentford at Anfield. Next in the Premier League, then a trip to Manchester United, which is, of course, always an absorbing encounter. Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth at home, and then Wolves away. Here is McAllister, Liverpool's number 10. Copa America winner this summer, McAllister. He's won just about everything. Tsimikas charging forward on the underlap. He's midway into the Ipswich half. He's got Gakpo on his outside. Gakpo crosses. Szoboszlai can't reach it. It's come back to Gakpo. Dinks it up high. Salah at the back post. Hits it on the volley. Beaten out by Walton. Bradley on the rebound. That is cleared away. And now McAllister from the edge of the penalty area. Ipswich throwing bodies in the way. Header clear by Davis. And Ipswich have maybe earned a bit of luck there. Here's Luis Diaz, though, tearing forward into the area through to Conor Bradley. He's denied by the sprawling goalkeeper. Liverpool really are cutting through Ipswich at will now. The flag was up against Bradley. Ipswich, as I say, a little fortunate that it wasn't 3-0 there.
Yeah, they're looking tired now, but it's really good play again from Liverpool. The comfortableness is the word I'm looking for. Is it? I'm not sure. They're very comfortable in those pressures, especially
we're tied up
yards.
here, Luke. Don't worry about that. They must be knackered down there.
They're just so comfortable in and around the 18-yard box.
Yeah, there's a swagger about Liverpool now, isn't there, Scott?
No, there is. But to be fair to Ipswich, defending to a man, different people, including the goalkeeper, making sure they're not conceding that third. But Liverpool have been just brilliant in this second half. They have stepped it up. They could easily have scored 5. Ipswich don't deserve that. But how good they've been, 1 on the transition, and 2 once the midfield have started to get hold of the tempo of the game. They have dominated this second half.
Former Chelsea defender Scott Minto live with us on Talksport. Over halfway through the 8 added minutes, there'll be a yellow card for Gakpo. The ironic cheers from the Ipswich fans because they thought that Tim Robinson was unfairly lenient to 1 or 2 of those Liverpool players in the first half. Gakpo on Hutchinson, a trip. I mean, I don't know that it was really very different from any of the Liverpool fouls we saw in the first half, but...
Yeah, it was one of those, it was a striker's tackle, wasn't it? It was lazy. Just the ball was past him, you ain't getting past me.
Just slowed the game down again.
Absolutely. Trying to do game management, but ended up getting a booking.
I'll let you guys get away with that. 2 former defenders with us in the commentary box today. The ball is out of play for a Liverpool throw. And now in the right-back position, you're listening to Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. And listen to the defiant roar of the Ipswich fans. The Portman Road noise will be so key this season. It was always likely to be a very difficult task against Liverpool in the second half. That's proven the case. I wonder, Luke, have you seen enough from your old team to suggest that you can pick enough pick up enough points or plenty of points this season?
Especially in the first half. I think they've got to learn from that, especially that they won't be able to keep that tempo and that high press up for the 90 minutes in the Premier League, and when you have players that you have to be on point against.
And Tsimikas has floated a high diagonal ball over the top, and Salah brought it down brilliantly with his arm, I think. And Salah actually raising his arm in apology and acknowledgement that, yep, that did spin off my arm.
The Ipswich
knew what he was doing there. Salah.
By our match sponsor,
Free kick quickly given by the referee.
Ipswich have definitely shown enough to say that they can stay up, and I'm not saying that they will. You know, they're up against a side that, again, I repeat, they're going for the title. Yes, it's Arne Slot's first season, but they can take so much positivity. And the second half, the class of Liverpool, the way they've moved the ball, is so difficult physically to keep it up.
Hutchinson, right-hand corner of the penalty area for Ipswich, has won them a corner off Tsimikas. Not much time left, only about a minute and 20 seconds. Ipswich 2-0 down, but their fans will cheer them every step of the way. Corner at the Sir Bobby Robson end. They haven't tested Addison at all in the second half. Davis is surely going to whip this one in. That in-swinging left-footed delivery. Hutchinson is standing there as well, just in case. Smodics is lurking, the corner's taken short. Work back to Morsey, edge of the box. Good cross in, headed away by Gakpo, not very far. Wolfenden jumping, hit by Taylor on the volley, blocked by his own man. Harness has scooped it wide to Smodics. Smodics, great reverse ball. Greed shoots. That's charged down well by Kanate. And it's spun through to Addison, who immediately has clattered it downfield, looking to set Diaz away. Johnson has controlled that brilliantly. Last 30 seconds, 2-0 to Liverpool. And Ipswich would love a consolation goal. Full-time in League 2, Carlisle 1, Barrow 0. Likewise, Bromley 2, Wimbledon 0, a full-time score. Header by Wolfenden. And things are nearly done here at the end of the first Saturday lunchtime of the season. Talksport's game day back with all the Premier League action. Header away by Bradley from the right-back position, and Liverpool nearly have their clean sheet. Tsimikas, little ball over the halfway line to find Diaz. He's just juggled that up in the air, Diaz. And the full-time whistle blows. The Arne Slot era is off to the perfect start. Liverpool start as they mean to go on under their new Dutch head coach with a win that could be the first of many. Two familiar names on the score sheet in Jota and Salah, who in particular just loves the opening weekend of a Premier League campaign. Full marks to Ipswich for their first half performance. In the second period, the sobering reality of life in the Premier League was somewhat laid bare. Lots for Kieran McKenna to build on, but they have the daunting task of Manchester City to come next. Liverpool pick up the points. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2.
Joe Shennan, thank you very much. Yes, it was a baptism of fire indeed, wasn't it, for Ipswich Town? But it was one they managed to fight against. It was fires they managed to dampen, certainly in those opening 45 minutes. In the end, you have to say that the experience showed when it came to Liverpool. They scored 2 for their first win under Arne Slot. They did have the passion, Ipswich Town. They just lacked the teeth, just that cutting edge to take something from the game. It's all a learning curve, of course, and Ipswich Town can hold their heads high. They looked exhausted at the end of this game, and right now you can see many of the backroom staff are heading down the tunnel. You can see a lot of the players still out on the centre circle, and the Ipswich Town fans are walking around now to applaud their fans, who are duly applauding them back, because this really was a special day for every single person concerned and every single person related to this club. There's a special connection between these players and the fans. They cannot stop chanting, they cannot stop cheering and singing. This was a huge day, and even if it ended with a defeat for Ipswich Town, they can be really, really proud of the performance they put in, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, and the credit's got to go to Liverpool in the end for the second half performance, but Ipswich's performance today, it will give Kieran McKenna lots and lots of positives to think about, lots to work on, but it's about getting that first game out of the way. This was never going to be a fixture where they'd be looking at, if they'd written them all down, are we going to win this one, where are we going to take our points? So these are the games where they're going to try and learn as much as they can, as quickly as they can.
As quickly as they can, exactly. What would you say, Scott Minto, are the lessons that they're going to learn then?
I just think if they can play like this for the rest of the season, they will stay up. They're up against one of the best teams in the Premier League, one of the best teams in Europe. And class tells. You know, Kieran McKenna set his team up. Managers have become more important than ever before, but it's still always, Resh, about the players. And the players, when you talk about the amount of players in this Ipswich side that 2 seasons ago were third-tier players of English football against world-class players right now, you know, really it's a mismatch. So the fact that Ipswich did so well in that first half, I think that's where they can take all the positives out of it. But it's just the way that Liverpool manipulated the ball and then individual situations and individual players, they cracked on to Liverpool in the second half, and it could have been 4 or 5. I'm really glad it wasn't. Ipswich wouldn't have deserved that. But if they can bottle up those first 45 minutes, they'll not get run around in the second half many times like that for the rest of the season. So there are many positives to take.
They did look tired at the end of that game, Luke. Is that what it was? It was just the exertion. It's going to a different level, and this is really the top level, and that's what they saw.
Yeah, and it's a physical exertion as well, but it's also the mental side and the expectation and the excitement that they've carried throughout the summer, and they've been used to winning games, like we said before. So to go down and come out at half-time and have Liverpool be so far on top was almost like, oh, here we are now. Okay, let's work our way through this game. And like I say, the players as well as Kieran McKenna will learn from this and where to press, where to sit off, and realise that if you do leave space in behind, especially second half of the game, they'll be punished.
Yeah, as you say, defeat is really sort of unfamiliar territory, isn't it, for them? But for Liverpool, though, it was a victory, a really important one for Arne Slot as well, for Scott Minto, because, you know, you got the likes of Adrian Durham, I mean, you know, who aren't really very keen on Arne Slot. But Liverpool fans, you know, this guy has to convince them that he can fill these big shoes. He's inherited a great squad. It's what he did with it after that. How much of this was, you know, slot ball, and how much of this was just having a really good squad? Yeah,
I know Age listening. He was pretty smug at half-time, wasn't he, with 0-0, and saying, see, I'm going to be right if they carry on playing like this. But Arne Slot will know. In experience enough. Again, you don't judge teams in the first game of the season, good or bad. But the way they played out in the second half, the way they were able to step it up, when again, you know, reiterate, first game, you're not 100% match fit. The class players told, and that's why they are class players. And Ipswich, even in the second half, the players themselves will learn a lot from how they move the ball, how they manipulated the movement. I thought Leif Davis was superb today, and yet Mo Salah made an assist and a goal. You know, moments. That's what Liverpool players are capable of. Ruud Gullit used to say to us at Chelsea, he said, you know what, in a really tight game, I just wanted to do 2 good things. And that's what Mo Salah did. Yeah. So there's so much confidence, I think, that Ipswich can take out of it. But for Liverpool, it was always about just making sure they got that win. But the second half, the performance was superb as well as the win. So it's tick for Arne Slot. Tick, absolutely. OK, it's time now for us to pick. I don't know if you guys have thought about this, actually. We're going to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Can't remember if we told you we do this, Luke. Scott is well accustomed to it.
I've got one, but Luke can go if he wants.
Luke, would you like to go first?
No, I'll let Scott go.
Go, Scott, go.
I'd like to mention Sam Morsey. I've already mentioned Leif Davis. But again, I just think in a really, really tight game, and I've already said about it, moments. Mo Salah, assist and goal. And he stepped up and he's won this game for his team.
I like how you did that. Moments. Did you realise you were doing that?
Moments.
Woo, look at you. There's a job somewhere else for you, I think. Luke?
No, on the final score team sheet, on the sheets at the end of the game, who's assisted? Mo Salah. Who scored? Mo Salah.
Yeah.
And that's generally the way football works. As much as us defenders don't want it to be that way, generally the attacking players get the plaudits, and today he's won the game for them.
It's why I did mention Leif Davis as well, because he was superb. Yeah. But again, and it wasn't just his fault, but he was really good, and he can now say he's played against a world-class player and get a lot of confidence himself. But Mo Salah was the difference today. Yeah, he was. OK, that is unanimous then. The man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car is Mo Salah.